Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the FreeForge. Hi, I am going to be your game master for the evening. My name is Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. When I'm not here on the FreeForge, you can find me on Transplanar RPG as the GM and creative producer, which is an all trans POC-led D&D show streaming Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. But without further ado, I'm going to pass along introductions over to Dare.
Oh God, I wasn't ready. Hi, I'm Dare. I'm a person on the internet, and you can find me at most places at Dare to Dream RPG, DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. I'm gonna throw it over to Humna.
Hello, everybody. My name is Humna. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all the different projects I'm a part of. But for now, I will pass it over to Lonzo Gonzo.
Hey everyone, Lonzo Gonzo, pronouns he, him. You can find me on my Twitch channel, or you can find me on Saturdays over at Rolling These 20s. We do Vampire Masquerade, 5E, Philly by Night. I'm going to pass it over to Denise.
Hello, I'm Denise, she, her. You can find me on Wednesday nights at Fractured Roll on Twitch. We do a live play D&D show. Coming back soon at Channel 29 as well, and my own personal Twitch. I'm just Denise Pantoja at the usual places, and the Demogorgon on TikTok.
Heck yeah. Well, of course, this event is one of many supporting Color of Change here on FreeForge. So there are tons of awesome streams happening all weekend. Make sure to stay tuned, join the Forge, etc. And speaking of ways to donate to charity, if you donate this stream, we have some pretty baller incentives. So use !charity in chat to take a look at those incentives, because these characters, I'm going to put them through the ringer. They're going to start at level 1, and the only way they can level up is if you give money. So I could literally just like TPK them over and over and over again if like no money happens, so please take pity on them. With that out of the way, I think let's just get into it. Let's do this one shot. Let's kill some gods. Every time the blessed Lord Euphemet, God of gods, the king undying, master of magic and all creation, kills you, he does it in an expulsion of splendid violence. The throne room of the Immaculate Citadel is a massive, sweeping hall with walls of gilded ivory and emerald vines. Marble pillars, each the size of an ancient oak, support a vaulted ceiling tessellated with prismatic glass. Life and light shafts through the panes, glistening and iridescent like tendrils of divinity caressing your faces. An imperial throne, wider than perfection, smelted from the crowns of conquered gods, rests upon a raised dais at the back of the hall. A tongue of carpet, thick, red, lush as blood, pours down the elevated steps, and standing upon that platform is Euphemet, your father, the God King of the realms. An imposing ruler, 12 feet tall, with the face of a man and the mane of an alabaster lion sweeping down his back instead of hair. Thick, white, tufted fur frames a chiseled jaw, a regal nose, and eyes of shining gold with pitch black scleras. He wears a long, flowing robe of black, white, and gold thread his chest, covered by a steel plate. He is monstrous, he is beautiful, and you will die by his hand. The coppery tang of blood hangs in the backs of your throats like a grisly omen. The air here is thick with magic. It's swimming in it, it's drowning, and Euphemet turns his gold-black gaze onto you, Firstborn, Ira Fares. What do you look like as you fight your father?
Ida is a firbolg, so think more deer than cow in terms of their features. They have this light brown skin that is almost the color of a redwood tree, and eyes that with pupils that are yellow. Their hair, a teal, is held up in a bun with like 2 braids that are framing their face, and they have this very serious look on their face as they stare their father down once again, not for the first time and probably not for the last time, scars covering their face, their freckled face, from each previous iteration of this same encounter that they keep having over and over and over again. They have these antlers, deer antlers protruding from their forehead in their hands, one, I should say, scimitar for now. One plain scimitar. As they stand, heaving, staring angrily at their father.
Foolish child. You really think you can kill me? How many times have you tried? And how many have you succeeded?
Father dearest, all it takes is once. One success for your tyranny to end.
And Ira, how does Euphemet kill you?
I think Euphemet grabs Ira by the horns and swings them around, snapping one of them, and crushes them up against one of the pillars in the room.
Just bam! Your body cracks against the marble and slumps to the ground, broken beyond comprehension, battered, the life draining from your eyes as you just, I think, slide and fall against a chunk of marble that crumbles past your form. And with that, those golden eyes, those pitch black whites turn on to you, second-born. What do you look like, V, as you fight Euphemet?
E is tiefling. She has like purple-hued skin, ram horns close to her head, and has probably taken a little bit of fashion advice from her older sibling, Ida, because she also has two like very thick, long braids hanging down, dark black hair, yellow eyes.
And how are you, like, composing yourself? Like, you just see Ira, like, crack and go limp, and you feel the weave, I think, snap. The tendrils of magic that tether their soul to this material plane just sever, and you know instantly that's like an insta-kill. There's no way to bring them back from that. They're gone. So how are you reacting to this as Euphemet turns his lordly gaze upon you?
Well, she's seen this before. She's been through it, and there's this quiet rage that just keeps building up in her every time this happens. She's also a bit of a smartass. So she says to her father, you know, one of these days, you're gonna push us way too far, and it will be your last.
Oh, V, you are one of my favorites. Of the four of you, I have to admit, your rage, your righteous fury at me, yes, it does link us, doesn't it? I, too, know what it feels like to be angry. But you know what the difference between my rage and yours is? Mine is direction. And tell me, V, how does he kill you?
I think that he gets V psychically and brings her down to her knees as she fights it. She tries to hold on, but she just keeps sinking further and further, but looking him right in the eyes as she crumbles to the ground.
I think every word he says about rage and fury and how his is superior to yours is like needles, like sharp shards of jagged glass digging into your brain. And I think you're holding his gaze, but the rest of your body trembles. I think blood, prickles and appears on the pores of your skin and trails down your cheeks and like falls out of your ear holes, and like one comes out of your nostril as you take a knee, and he looks at you almost with this like sadistic glee glimmering in his mismatched colored eyes, and he just says, I'll see you next time, V. And that's the last thing you hear before everything goes dark. I think your eyes just sort of roll up, eyelids flutter, and you slump to the ground, smelling earth, flowers, trees. But before we can hold on to that sensation, we are going to pan across as Euphemet turns his sharp, predatory gaze upon you, the thirdborn, Aaliyah.
So Aaliyah is big. One thing that she has is her father's stature. She is about 7'5", Aaliyah, so her features have a bit of a snout with razor sharp teeth, just in a permanent grimace / snarl. Her hair a wild, like, mane held back by the world's strongest ponytail holder. As she is just wearing, I think, a very simple and effective, like, leather covering her open arms, and little tufts of white fur, just showing underneath.
Aaliyah, my darling. You know what I see when I look upon you. Euphemet says as he sort of like very casually like padding over this like thick carpet, even as like the blood from your siblings begins to pool against the marble and stain the mattress, like you stain the mat on the ground, and he continues advancing upon you, like sort of almost like holding out like a kind of almost delicate hand, like a musician's hands, like a violist's hands, not the hands of a killer. There is always something so elegant about the way he does violence, right? As he like sort of twirls his fingers toward you.
I'm going to kill you one day.
That's what all of you say, isn't it? You are so full of potential, Aaliyah. All of you are wasted on what? Utility, weakness. And tell me, Aaliyah, how does Euphemet kill you?
My two signature weapons are a greatsword and a halberd. And I think I was too focused fighting with the sword that he just very cleanly took the halberd from me, and simple through and through. And as I began to die, I just kept advancing closer and closer on my own halberd. I'll get him.
Yeah, there's like a massive gash through your body as you like impale yourself through the wood of the halberd, and he like continues driving it deeper through your body, even as you like your muscles begin to weaken. Like I think some blood just gushes out of your mouth and stains your own mane, and he sort of looks like gazes at you almost like tenderly in your eyes as the life starts to leach from your body. Here's hoping you get stronger next time, Aaliyah. And he just kind of callously tosses your corpse to the side as I think everything goes black for you and you fall. Which leaves us with our fourth born and our final victim of the night. Euphemet turns his gaze at last upon you, Juancito.
Vito is on his knee. He's wearing mail armor. His sword is broken, bottom half just gone, just the top half he's holding. He has one hand on his knee, along with his war hammer. Through the armor, you could see blue skin, black hair, kind of shorter length, pulled to the back. His eyes white. Snarling, this hobgoblin looks up, and he's just puffing and huffing, looking around and seeing his siblings lifeless. Looks over to his father and says, "You show no affection towards us. None whatsoever.
You haven't earned it. You're weak. Get stronger. If you get strong enough to kill me, maybe you'll deserve my respect."
Respect? Killing you is going to earn us respect?
That's the true difference between you, demigod, and me, a true god, king of gods. I've conquered every square inch of land in the realms and every plane that rotates around these lands. Death, for me, and for you to an extent, is but an illusion, godling, a measure of power, of strength. Though, you may be reaching your limit soon.
You'll never conquer us. And you see Juancito take his warhammer, kind of stand up, put his hand on his chest, and you see a divine light start to come forth for it. And you slowly see the wounds start to heal up when Father comes and extinguishes that light.
Yes, I think as we see this divine radiance emanating off of your weapon, he lets out like a disparaging laugh. You want to see divinity? I'll show you divinity. And I think he like brandishes his claws outward and like an aura of just pure, holy, just eviscerating, disintegrating radiance explodes out of him. And that's the last thing you remember, Juancito, before you, I think, crumble into ash and disappear. And I think, like, the last thing all of you sort of hear as your souls, I think, sever from the material plane and trawl elsewhere to that demi-plane, wherever demigod souls go, is your father's laugh, emanating, echoing across time, across space. And now I need each of you to roll me a D100. Let's start the results with our firstborn. Ira, what did you get?
I got a 94.
Wonderful. Let's go to our secondborn. V.
83.
83. Let's go to our thirdborn, Aaliyah.
Comically, a 38.
Okay, nice. And let's go to our fourthborn, Juancito.
Pretty much right in the middle, 55.
55. Okay. We pull to black, and 270 years pass. And now, we cut to, I think, we stay on black, and we hear rushing waves. The smell of salt whirling through the air, the distant howling of wind, the chirping of seagulls. And Ira, you gasp awake. Where are you?
Ida is on the edge, the very edge of a seaside cliff. We see the cliff face and we see a cave that is embedded into the top of the cliff, and inside of that cave, right on the edge, is Ida. I think they were lying down, and when he gasps awake, I think he almost like falls out of the cave itself. And this is such a practice dance at this point. I imagine this happens a lot. And so he like quickly grabs the ledge of the cave as he falls. Oh, fuck, this never gets any easier. And kind of like hoists themselves back up into the cave.
You pull yourself up, I think, your finger scrabbling against hard, salt-washed rock, and like little tufts of dandelions persisting despite the salt ocean right there. And you like pull yourself back up into this cave. Mossy, I think, vines just sort of crawling up between the rock. And you see the horizon, just this vast blue line behind you of just water. And I think as you look around, 270 years for you, Ira, because here it's hard to tell when time passes. I mean, how much does the ocean change in just shy of 3 centuries? Not much, right? So what do we see as you like gather your bearings?
As Ida, I think, sits down on the edge of this cliff, on the edge of this cave, they kind of like prop their one knee up and they look out into the ocean, and even though oceans don't really change very much either, this specific area of the realms itself also doesn't change at all, even outside of this cave. It seems to be suspended in time, almost like somebody made a little snow globe and just kept it here, untouched by the seasons, untouched by maybe even the gods themselves. And so the view is actually quite familiar because it's the same every single time that Ida dies.
I love that. Yeah. As you sort of perch there on the edge, looking out over the ocean, I think your hair getting ruffled by this like gentle sea breeze moving past your eyes. I think a memory of a voice echoes through your head. The voice of your mortal father, not Euphemet, but the man he supposedly fell in love with, had you with. What's his name?
His name is Nur.
Nur. And I think, like, the sentence that just sort of echoes through your head, I think it's the same sentence that echoes through your head every time you are reborn. Ira. Everyone needs a spark. A light in the darkness. Keep them grounded. The best spark is, of course, love. Hold on to that, Ira. Hold on to that.
And Ida's hand tightens their grip on their scimitar, which I imagine they're using kind of like stuck into the ground to ground themselves. And they remember Juancito, who usually also forms or is reborn near here. And remembering all of their siblings, remembering Aaliyah and V as well. That is their spark. And I think they sit there looking out over this ocean, thinking about their siblings and about how, in order to really be a family, really and truly, we need to kill our fucking dad.
And on that, I think we are going to cut to a crumbled ruin. Secondborn, V. Where does your body always reform?
It was once a home, a happy home, where she had a mother. It was just her and her mother. Very simple life. And every time she is killed and comes back, it's just more and more in ruins.
I like that. It's where do you envision this home? Was it in the middle? Is it in the middle of a now destroyed and obliterated city? Was it perhaps in a glen or like a little single cottage nestled away in the moors?
I think it was definitely nestled away.
Okay.
A little further outside of like civilization.
Cool. In the woods, does that sound good to you?
The woods is great. I love the woods.
Perfect. I think you awaken, and I think it's kind of like the charred, broken down, ashen remains of what used to be your home. The last time you awakened here, there were vultures pecking at a freshly slain mercenary's corpse nearby. But now, as you get up, and I think as you like rise like up to like your waist, like like ash like crumbles off of you, like and dust just sort of rolls off like fog off the surface of a winter river. And as you look around, you see flowers, thick tufts of grass, long, I think little like saplings, almost of trees have like twisted and grown themselves out of the hollows of this home. Nature has taken back a lot, I think, of your sanctuary. What do you do?
I walk over to it. It's such an emotional feeling, like it overwhelms me because it means more time has passed. It means I have not accomplished my goal, but it's beautiful. And I'll just reach out and put my hand, feel the life coming from the plants and shed a tear.
I love that. Yeah, as you reach out, like
inside
Go
as
ahead.
much as she can. Sorry, she keeps it inside as much as she can, but it really kind of takes her over.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, you're literally trapped in a cycle of generational trauma that you can't escape. So it's quite overwhelming. as you stand there and you sort of touch this like sapling, right? Your fingers exploring this like still adolescent juvenile bark, tears welling in your eyes. One slides down your cheek and goes down to your boot, and I think your eye is drawn down to see like the skull of a long dead animal, right? Like a deer or a rabbit or something like that, like a skull just at your feet. And as you look upon that visage of death, I think it is your mortal mother's voice that echoes in your head. Gabriella's voice that says almost tenderly to you, a memory of something she taught you that you've never forgotten since. Valencia, everything that happens for a reason. Even death. Look at this bud that didn't take. It seems sad, yes, but it's a part of nature. Now this bud will help feed the soil to let new things grow. You are blessed, Valencia. Your father, though I disagree with him about certain things, your father, his blood does run through you. It gives you power and magic. Power to protect life, to preserve the sanctity of the cycle of death. And I think like it's those words that ring through you. What emotion is I think like flooding your body?
It's I know this, and my studies of death help solidify this teaching, but it still hurts. It rips me apart inside to know that has to happen, and to know that she actually really believed that she had to meet Euphemet, have me, and be killed by him in order for us to someday accomplish this goal. Like, I mean, she didn't say, hey, someday you're going to kill your dad, but you know what I mean? She truly believed it. And I don't let it get too much. I don't let it bubble over too much. I've got to stamp it down. I'm very steely in my reserve to get back to my siblings so we can get right back at it again.
I like that. And I think as that determination and that perseverance, I think, steals your gaze and you look up right from that skull, like empowered to keep going, we will sweep through the trees, past, I think, various branches, up like a hillock to where the area gets a bit more mountainous. We're gonna sweep past thick, verdant green canopy, past rabbits, disturbing bushes, past chittering songbirds, and hold on an old forest city. There used to be houses built up here in the branches. The people here used to live in harmony with the nature around them, but it has long since been abandoned. And unless you know where to look, you won't be able to see, I think, and notice the ruins of a civilization here. And it is amongst this desiccated greenery that you, I think, Aaliyah, awaken what is around you.
I think currently there are, I think, buildings and fortifications built sort of interspersed in, like, joined with nature. And I think the doors that used to exist there have been long grown past it. This is absolutely a space that nature has reclaimed mostly.
Totally. And I think, Aaliyah, as you also like gasp, like your eyes fly open, right? Like your mane, I think, no longer soiled with the blood that gushed down the front of your body, right? From your death. You look around, you smell this like fresh, almost like thick, kind of pungent, sweet smell of grave dirt just sort of sifting through the air around you like molasses. And what do?
I think the first thing I do is I punch the ground, very frustrated. And before immediately getting up, dusting myself off, I am now 8 feet tall, by the way. That has just happened. Hit level 10. I'm now bigger and more annoyed, and I think the thing she normally does when this happens is there's an old sort of where her old house used to be here. that like has a big, very crude, like runic, like mark for her name on it, that she just very casually, because it's probably grown over, hacks away and just starts hitting the figure that like almost the equivalent of a like punching bag, and just starts letting out some frustration instantly.
Oh yeah, you're just wailing on this thing, bam, 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 and I think we pull like wide from you as we just see your like 8-foot form like bristling with muscle and rage and frustration, just wailing on this structure. We see like the trees and the air around you vibrate like a flock of birds to whisper through the canopy and disappear off against the skyline as you just bam, 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 like sweat I think starts to roll down, I think, like your neck from the fury of this, and amidst the sound of your own fists pounding, 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 your mortal mother's voice rings through your head. What was her name?
Check, but because Dare knows this. Naki. Yeah.
Yes, Naki's voice. She, alongside you, watched over this forest sanctuary once upon a millennia, perhaps. But now it's fallen to ruin. And I think a part of you can't help but feel like you failed her, right? You failed her. You swore you'd protect this place, and now nothing grows here but sorrow and grief and regret. And Naki's voice, I think, stern, martial, and yet soft, right? She taught you how to fight, but she also taught you how to use your strength for good. Her voice reverberates in your head and just goes, straight in the back, Aaliyah. Yes, footwork squared off. Don't leave any weaknesses or openings. Good. Aaliyah, listen. You're strong. Your father's blood flows through your veins, makes you powerful, but that's not the only thing that makes you powerful. Aaliyah, force, strength, power should also be used for kindness, for care, to make things grow. You see this wood around us. We protect it, yes, but we also let it flourish. Our hands are weapons, but they also hold flowers. Never forget that. Never forget what you fight for.
I think at that, she does just sort of stop. And in the old, millennia-old house that she lives in between her trips to Oblivion, there is a small, little flower pot with a long wilted flower. And she just very delicately pulls it out and begins planting a new seed.
And I think upon like the seed going into the dirt and the soil of it, right, like just sort of like covering it, we're gonna hold on that pot of soil and we're gonna see that seed almost like a time lapse appear to like bloom and sprout like a thin, tender green stem, and then flourish into a Kaya lily. And as we pull away from this Kaya lily, we're going to go to our fourth born, Juancito. When you gasp awake, where are you?
Juancito is along the shoreline. Waves are crashing. You can hear that in his ear, hear the seagulls, smell the salt air, and feel the coarse sand on his face. He opens up his eyes and can see the blue skies, white clouds over across the vast ocean. Grips the sand just to make sure that he is back here. He takes it and he grinds in his fingers, rubs a little bit on his armor, just that way he has a little bit of home wherever he goes. Stands up, grabs his warhammer, which is now sort of golden yellow, kind of like the sun itself. His shield is yellow, white and blue. He takes a deep breath. And he says, "No lo puedo hacer, mamá. Y lo siento." He feels regret within him that he couldn't overcome his father. Yet again, he's asking for forgiveness from her. His mother's name was Andrea, who was Water Genasi, and that's why this place means so much to him.
I think as sorrow, regret, some flicker, but it's not quite a flame of determination, I think, swirls through you. Your gaze, I think, is drawn, as it always is, to that lily. The only, I think, bloom of color, the only spot of a reminder of what this place used to be, your home, I think is sort of in the middle of where the town square used to be. And it was where your mortal mother, Andrea, and your divine father, Euphemet, of course, were wed. But I think as you, say this line, asking for forgiveness, you hear an echo of a memory of Andrea's voice swirl, I think, through your head, like soft waves of water caressing you. You just hear, a very, warm, trying to, calming voice wash in and just sort of, whisper, Juancito, you, beautiful baby boy, you, the darling, the gem, the ocean of my eye. You are my hope for the world. You are the best thing your father has ever made. Everything, my child, everything deserves kindness. Juancito, please remember this no matter how dark their soul may be. Even your father. Juancito, I know, it's time to go to bed, but there will be one day, perhaps, long after now, where you are filled with hatred and you are filled with anger, perhaps at your father even, but please do know that everyone, him included, deserves softness, compassion. You are a guiding light, Juancito. Bring them into the light. Show the people of the realms, show your father that even in the darkest depths of the abyss, light finds a way.
Juancito kind of puts his arms around, even though she's not there, and sort of embraces this voice that's in front of him. A tear running down his eye, and says, "See, Mama." Wipes off the tear, settles himself, takes another deep breath, turns and sees his sibling Ira, and runs and just the biggest embrace. You made it here too.
Yeah, I always do.
Sorry. Sorry, I just...
It's okay.
You never know how long this is going to last.
How long do you think it's been this time?
Honestly, I've lost count.
Doesn't fucking help that this place never changes. It's impossible to tell.
It's always the same time around here. Which, I guess it's a good thing. It's comforting.
Well, how tall is Juancito? I just need to know.
Juancito is 5'11".
Okay, for reference, Ida is 7 feet tall, 7 feet even.
So he's grasping around Ira's waist, pretty much.
I think Ida ruffles Juancito's hair. All right, baby brother, let's go find our other siblings.
Yeah. This time. All of us.
This time. It will be the last time.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I think on that, we are going to cut to a place both familiar and strange to each of you. A place that changes every time you die, like everything in the realms does. The toll of years, decades, centuries pulling at its form like greedy fingers at thread. And every time each of you come crawling back out of your graves, which are also wombs, which are also destiny, you meet your siblings here at this place. The only place in the realms your father goes not, because there is nothing for him here. No power to drink, no majesty to behold, no significance to crumble into dust. Ira, you and Juancito are the first to arrive. What is this place?
I think this place is a small hut in the middle of a forest. It's kind of like nestled away in like maybe like the heart of the forest itself, and it's kind of difficult to get through because the trees are so dense and so thick around this part of the forest, and so there's not a lot of like people that tend to travel in here. But we managed to find this like abandoned cabin here one day during one of our travels together, and I think we've kind of like makeshift made it our little home base, just a little place for us to meet up every time we die.
I love that. Yeah, I think this cabin that the two of you, I think, are trawling through the wood. You know the correct hidden pathway to get there. You're able to like part through, I think, thick fronds and grasping thorny vines and like underbrush that just won't let go of your armor. It like just clings on it. It refuses to let go. But finally, like you like part through these thick grasses to see the hut. And somehow this part of the hidden weald, let's call it, has gotten even thicker than the last time you were here. Very thick. There are like, on your way here, you glimpsed, I think, farmland, I think off to the far west, like beyond the border of the wood that you're traveling through. That definitely was not there the last time you were here. You see like an entire city that it has just sprung up. Right, and there's a kind of technology here that is new to you. That's unfamiliar. I think occasionally you'll see. At first you think they're dragons or wyverns or something, like swooping through the air, but then you realize they're people in these like wing-like contraptions that they're sort of like occasionally flap as they like soar through. Like it looks like tech has changed, right? New civilizations have cropped up. It's different. It's always different, but this time it feels very different. You get the feeling quite a lot of time has passed. And Ira and Juancito, before I think you're able to enter the cabin, that's when the two of you hear like the bushes shake again. And that's when Aaliyah, I think, appears out of the green thicket.
Yo,
You made it.
wouldn't miss it for the world. It's good to see you too. And like immediately scoops them both up, despite.
Put me down, please. Please.
Once he
Aaliyah.
laughs.
All right, fine.
He's always enjoyed this.
Oh, I see you grew since the last time.
Yeah, how's it doing? Short stuff? And I'm just immediately messing with Ira.
I think Ida like tries to like dodge out of the way. They refuse to be babied by their younger sibling. It's not happening.
It could be worse. I mean, Aaliyah couldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be back. It seems like we missed a lot. Rough
Yeah.
estimates.
People are flying in machines now? That's new.
I thought that would be possible. I thought that was just tales that wizards used to tell us to go to sleep to, or we were good, this is what we could get.
I guess the nerds figured it out after all.
Nerds inherited the world, I suppose.
As long as there's a couple of quiet spots like the woods, I'm fine. There's a decent amount of people, a bit too much, honestly.
I haven't had a chance to check out your garden, and I think Ida like moves towards the side of the cabin where I imagine Aaliyah probably was the first one to like suggest the idea of like having a little garden for us. And so they kind of go over to like check it after centuries of us not having tended to it at all.
There's nothing there. It's just like thick vines and bushes have just completely grown over it, and like these vines look old, but they were not there before. Like have like spider webbed their way up like through the almost rotting panels of this hut, which is odd. But before I get to why that's odd, I think that's when the underbrush shakes again, and V joins your siblings.
Again, Aaliyah, I feel like I need to get some. Would you like to go spar? Because I am so pissed. I had a really great joke too that I was going to tell, and it was going to be really good, and I forgot because I got really upset because he hit Ira, and it's just I need help, please.
All right, and like squats down because I
Wait.
know I'm taller than you.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Wait.
I got bigger. Don't worry about it. And just like hands out for you to like just throw some punches at. All right, aim to kill. Come on.
Listen. I want to spar. I don't want you to just take it. I can take you. It's fine.
And like Aaliyah just like sort of grabs at her greatsword, like, nah. All right. You know
Fine.
I'm not supposed to kill you, right?
Well, no, I'm not asking you to kill me,
But I'd win really good.
I don't know that you would. And then V'll just like jump up and try to smack Aaliyah in the head. I don't know if she makes it. I don't know if I make it.
Can I make a dex save to dodge?
You know what? Why don't you make a dex save and V make a athletics check?
Oh my.
Oh god, let me make sure.
Second roll of the game is simply for sibling infighting.
Was the natural 20.
wasted here, but I love it.
I
Yes.
know. It's great for story.
Yeah, no, you got me. All right, fair enough. All right, like after we kill Dad, like one no holds bar fight.
Oh, you're on.
No, absolutely, I'll win. And I like look at the other two, like who you betting on?
I think Ida's distracted by the garden and the rotting wood, which is weird for a reason. And they're just kind of like, hey V, like not looking, just kind of waving their hand.
Hey, what are you looking at?
Ida points to the cabin.
What happened here?
And I think, like, almost as an answer to that question, the four of you hear more rustling. And as far as you know, you don't have another half-sibling, right? So, like, you hear some more rustling, like, coming through the bushes, and eventually, like, some fronds part to reveal a half-elf woman who has, I think, some game slung over her back. Looks like maybe she was hunting or something. She's got this, like, short black hair, a kind of hard, weather-worn face, and scars crisscrossing her light brown skin. One of her eyes is actually milky white, with this, like, old gash running from her forehead, like, bisecting the eye down to her lip, and a long sword is strapped to her hip, while a long wooden staff is sort of strapped to her back, topped with a black gem. She wears this, like, tough leather armor with steel pauldrons and a half plate covering her chest, inscribed with a symbol all of you recognize. A rune for burden, a rune for grief, a rune for rage, and a rune for hope, forming a circle. And this symbol represents, of course, the four of you, and is the sigil for the Sentinels of Hope, which are a secret faction in the realms that supports what the four of you do every time you come back. They basically, like, wait until you respawn every time and supply you with informations. They update you on what you've missed. They rally militias, supplies, weapons, anything you might need. I mean, over the course of, like, centuries of this happening, you've rallied some support among the mortals who also do not want to live under tyranny. However, who the person that greets you is at this cabin changes almost every cycle. Because mortals, unlike the four of you, are touched by time and taken by the ravages of death. And this half-elf woman, I think she bears maybe a passing resemblance to the last person who met you here, just like bare something in the nose, that's it. She's maybe like a great granddaughter or something like that, right? But she's like easily in her 40s or 50s, and she's like holding this deer. But you're back. Ha! Took you long enough this time. I am Hua Yi, daughter of Trismera, the Oath-Sworn Sentinel of Hope. And just like kind of brusquely and very casually and callously, she starts to like push past all of you, like up toward the hut.
I mean,
Sorry,
rude,
I
but-
don't. I mean, we don't really have control over when we, come back.
Yeah, and we don't exactly have any control over the fact that we die and can't come back. She says as she like muscles the hut door open. She kind of like leaves it open behind her, almost as like a, well, you can go in if you want, but she's not inviting you in.
Look at her.
I mean, to be fair, our father hasn't exactly been kind to the humans, so.
not like we're not
Life.
trying here.
There's a lot of work in.
Come on, let's go. And Ida will like try and herd the siblings over into the cabin.
Yeah. I think the interior is this kind of like crowded little hut. It feels too small every time you respawn. And I think every time you respawn, you're like, why don't we move to a bigger place? But by that point, you're like poring over maps and stuff, and it's too late, right? So it's tiny. It's almost like a 2-room bedroom. That's it. There's sort of like a pot of stew. I think that's like bubbling ambiently on some firewood, right? You see like various herbs, dried herbs hanging down. You see like some laundry, I think, folded in the back. It looks like this person, Hua Yi, has just been living here. Instead of like, usually there's like battle maps spread out. There's like little figurines. There's like plans and stuff like stacked up really high. Like there's usually a retinue of people who greet you. They're like, great, you're here. Wonderful. We're so grateful. Here's what's going on, right? But this is just the one woman. And she doesn't seem very pleased to see you. And she starts to like slam the deer down, and she starts like also like taking other like packs off of her body.
There's normally more of you.
Yeah, is this the welcoming party? Because you could use a little bit of help.
Help! I could use a little bit of help. Wow, gee, thank you. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I didn't realize we desperate, weak little mortals needed help. Yeah, thank you. Let me write that down, in my vision journal for the future, and just tuck that away in my... Yeah, this is what's left. This is it.
What happened to everyone else?
Maybe my predecessors didn't make this clear enough when talking to the four of you for centuries and centuries and years and years and years. Maybe they were too blinded by your divinity, too cowed by your holiness and eminence to speak up. But unlike my mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother and her mother before her, I have nothing left to lose. I have no children, no family, no friends. Oh, right. Right. You wouldn't have heard. Yeah, the Sentinels, we're gone. We're done. We've been done for years.
How long were we out?
And she actually reaches into, I think, her armor and pulls out what seems like could be a vision journal, but she thumbs through it. Well, by today it will have been 270 years and 3 days.
Were you forced
Sorry.
to disband, or
Did you just lose hope?
He gets stronger every time. He was able to... I mean, you were gone for so long, it's almost 3 centuries. I'm just... People in the neighboring towns think I'm just some old, weird, recluse hermit who lives in the woods and
Well.
babbles about demigods. People out there, they're starting to think you don't exist anymore. It wasn't hard for His Lord Holiness to just wait 2 centuries and then squash out the rest of us.
How do you think we feel? We're trying. We're trying to make things better for you down here. We're sorry that it took us 300 years to get here.
Listen, after we kill him, this time it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen. I'm gonna set you up, all right? I'll find you a nice mate. Things will be so much better.
Enough! This is our responsibility. Have you all forgotten?
Never. Only thing I think about.
They are right to be angry at us. It's our job to fix this, and we keep failing. We can't keep failing.
Not like we're not trying though. I think we can all agree everything has been fucked for a while, but we don't like dying.
What do you think we should do, Ira?
Train more, better. Figure out what exactly. We still don't know what Father's weaknesses are. We keep
He doesn't
going
have one.
Everyone has weaknesses.
Your father doesn't have one. What, you think before the Sentinels disbanded, we were just sitting on our laurels, twiddling our thumbs? No, we were doing research. We were trying to find any sort of vulnerability, any sort of weakness he might have. There just isn't one. Okay, he's the god of gods. Every god he kills and eats, every time he kills you, it seems he gets stronger. He's the king undying. He's unkillable.
Now,
Where has he been spotted most recently?
He actually hasn't. I have information for you. That's why I'm here, isn't it? Give you
Led with
information on your big heroic deeds. That's all what we're good for. Us mortals too weak to free ourselves, so we have to rely on you, even though you're half tyrant anyway. I'll tell you what I know, and then my duty is done, and the promise I made to my mother will be fulfilled, and I can leave this place forever, and I will never come back.
Okay, information.
Euphemet is planning something. Something big. The magic around the Immaculate Citadel, it's warped, has been for years, decades. Honestly, maybe even centuries. Every day, it grows more strained like ice on a frozen lake, groaning under the weight of 1,000 men. No one's been allowed inside for almost 300 years. Actually, yeah, ever since the last time the 4 of you were killed, not even the nobles, not even the dogs that serve their king undying with glee. He also hasn't left his citadel for almost 300 years. We don't know what he's doing inside. He doesn't even open the palace gates or have it come down from the sky for anointment. That's all we know.
That doesn't sound like him.
no, but he's also not expecting anyone. No revelry, no fanfare, no goading. This might be the time for us to get him by surprise.
If we can keep the fact that we are back a secret, you might be right.
I mean, there's one person who cares we're alive again, and they're not the happiest with us, so I think it's pretty easy.
They don't really care, but yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Don't really care. Don't really care.
Oh my goodness.
I spent 40 years of my life waiting here for you to come. If you never showed up, I would have died and passed that legacy on to someone else. This is my life. And you say I don't care?
Well, you seemed mad. That's all. I'm so sorry. I
Quiet.
process things differently, all right? So I apologize if I've offended you.
You process things like a god. The passage of time is nothing to you.
Wai, what can we do to make up for the lost decades of your life?
Kill him for real this time.
We will.
Look, I do believe that you really do try. And it's rare. It's rare to find gods who actually care about us and will fight against this tyranny. But please understand that the people you leave behind, the other mortals who love you and know you and need you, we don't get that second chance. Every time you fail and you die, you're not the ones who bear the brunt of the consequences. Lord Euphemet takes his rage out about your insolence on us, on the people who help you, on our families, the people who believe in you when no one else in the realms do. So please just remember that.
Juancito walks up, drops to one knee, puts his hand across his chest, bows his head, and says, I know you spent most of your life waiting for us, and I know you're angry at us. But I thank you for that. We thank you for that. We'll do our best to make it up to you.
Thank you. Then my duty here is done.
What are you doing next?
Wait for you to die, or for him to die. And I think on that, we are going to sort of like push through this like dirty kind of fogged up window, push past these like thick fronds and these like flowering blooms and this miasma of pollen all around this thicket, past like a break in the tree line to see the immaculate citadel, a castle in the sky. An impregnable fortress of marble, stone, iron, brick, oak, floating thousands of feet above the horizon, a testament to Euphemet's glory. Its walls are forged from the strongest, finest masonry in all the realms. Its defense is fortified with ancient magical wards. We watch, I think, as the twin suns of the realms cross each other behind the citadel, casting doubled shadows across the earth. Long tracts of farmland, glistening veins of rivers, thick, bristling woods. And as time passes, each sun dips toward a polar horizon until the sky's a fury of blood-red dusk. And among this flourishing eventide, we pan down to a battlement of the citadel. And upon this parapet, like thousands of feet into the sky, the wind gusting all around you, we find the four of you, Ira, V, Aaliyah, and Juancito, gathering your bearings. I think, as you agreed, you've trained. Like for any amount of time you want to have trained for, while still remembering time is of the essence here. You've gathered your bearings, you took some time to complete your journey from the hut up to the citadel, and now you're here. You've already done, I think, a really difficult leg of the journey, which is getting up there in the first place. And now you're mere moments away from confronting your father again, hopefully. Armed guards patrol the bulwarks, and you see, at first you think, oh, it's those people with those like mechanical wings again, but no. As they swirl closer, I think just keeping guard around the floating citadel, you see dragons, I think, cutting through the sky, like dozens of dragons in every direction. I think their eyes like looking down at the ground around them, a eminent reminder of what Euphemet could do to you if you trespassed him. The sky vibrating with every flap of their leathery wings. And the central keep, which houses the throne room, which is where Euphemet almost definitely is 3,000 feet, that's half a mile, north of you. A tower mounted atop a looming peak. Magic emanates from the keep. Even from here, you can feel it. Watery, wounded, unstable. With every passing second, it grows more and more volatile, it feels, sort of like vibrations passing through water. Whatever your father's doing up there, it's definitely not good. Time is precious. So what did the four of you do?
I think Ida would have recommended to the group that we take up Juancito's plan of being stealthy about this. And so I think Ida right now is trying to figure out a way to get into that throne room without our father knowing. Are there windows, or do we know of any secret passageways that lead into it? I mean, we've been in the Citadel how many times
You
by
have
now?
countless times. Yep. It wasn't always floating in the sky. Maybe 4 cycles ago, it used to be on the ground. But then, like, you came back and it was in the sky, and you were like, okay, I guess it's in the air now, right? Like, a lot of shit changes every time you reset. From half a mile away, you can't see any of the details about any of, like, the windows or anything on that highest keep. You have to get closer. But you do know of several secret passageways, but also 270 years have passed. So you don't know if those tunnels have been filled, or if they've been trapped, etc.
Well, what do you think? Do we get closer, try to figure out if there's a way in from above, or do we chance the tunnels?
I mean, flying's new. It's new.
It is new. We know less about what's up there than we do about what's down here.
Maybe less is more.
They most likely forgot about the tunnels then. If they think the sky's theirs.
V, what about you?
I'm fine with the tunnels. If that's the direction we want to go. But before we go, gather round, my dear siblings. I made us all matching tunics. I mean, I didn't make them with my hands, but I had them made, okay? So there's like a message right on front. It's this new thing, they're called like sequins or something. So you put different colors and there's a message here and it says, okay, my da sucks, okay? And then you flip them up, you run your hand up and you flip it up and there's a different message. And it's, my da still sucks. So like if you feel like changing it up, it's great. I got it all in everybody's sizes. I almost put, you think your da sucks, mine's Euphemet, but we were trying to go under the radar. So I didn't do that one. And it's also lots of words. So half them out.
V, do we have to?
I mean,
Doesn't exactly go with the outfit.
it's a gift.
I
Do with it what you will.
I will politely take this tunic and wrap it around my waist like a belt.
Just whatever. I just wanted, this is the one, and I'm going to wear mine. But you don't have to wear yours. So don't feel, but let's get tunnels. Let's do it.
No,
Okay,
it's okay.
He's gonna walk up to V and again just take it and give a big hug and say, I know, it's corny, but it's you. And you're gonna see a little flash of light when I embrace V and I cast Death Ward on V.
What does Death Ward look and feel like for V, Juancito?
It's gonna be like a warm, pulse of warmth and light, just shimmer across you, kind of like the sequence when you went up to down. It's gonna be in that, and I think when he releases the embrace and walks back, he's just going to give you a little wink and slightly punch your shoulder and be like, this time it's ours.
And I'll say, V'll say, little G, Your hope gives us hope. Anyway. Great. Onward.
Speaking of onward, looks like we're chancing the tunnels. So I'll have the four of you make a group survival check.
I got a 25.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, we're level 16 now, baby.
I got a 13.
13, okay.
10 for me.
Oof, okay.
Rolling in
Oh,
hot
no.
with an 11.
Okay, Ida, tell me how you lead your mostly hapless siblings through the tunnels. I think we cut to, like, we pan down from the bulwark that all of you are standing on. We pan down past the masonry, like past like a thick layer of earth. We pan down past like rocks embedded within, I think, within the dirt, to like a hollow where we like hold on. The four of you now like walking through, I think it almost feels like dungeon caves, right? Like dungeon tunnels, because this is like a hunk of stone and mountain that was plucked out of the earth, cratered out of the earth, and left to float in the sky, suspended by magic. So you are literally underground while in the sky. So Ida, tell me how you're forging through the dungeon.
Ida is a wild magic barbarian, and I think as part of that, they've fine-tuned two abilities. One is the ability to resist magical effects, and the second is the ability to know them, to recognize them, and to harness them. So I think as part of that, and because our lovely father is my own flesh and blood as well, I think part of that means that our magic is connected in some way. And so Ida is using that magical connection in order to almost sniff out where their father is. Like, they will stand in an area, close their eyes, and kind of like center themselves, and then follow this like trail towards their father, this magical thread that is like pulling at them almost. And they use that to track where the throne room is from here.
Ooh, give me a group arcana check.
"21.
I really blew that 20 roll earlier. That's a
24.
5 for me.
Advantage with those things too. Oh, thank God. It's a 9.
Yeah, V and Aaliyah are chilling. Y'all are chilling. Y'all are like maybe like doing a little sparring in the back while Juancito and Ida are really sniffing out what's going on here magically. So yes, as you, I think, break around corners and pause as you hear like, I think, things skittering in the darkness, presumably monsters, beasts down here. No patrols down here. You have to like either light a torch or rely on dark vision if you have it to get through these tunnels. But Ida and Juancito, the tunnels are thick, pungent with your father's magic. It's like you're slopping through water, right? That's how thick it is, just on your tongue. And the two of you can sense that, well, it's gotten stronger. It's gotten stronger since the last time you confronted him, but so have you. And it's also, how do I describe it? With your really high arcana rolls, there's something intentional about the magic, right? It feels like it's trying to sift between the boundaries of reality, almost. Like you'll pass through a patch of the magic that smells decidedly earthen, and then you pass through another patch that almost smells like metallic or molten, right? Like it's like different realities bleeding into each other almost. That's what you get.
It seems father has a new project. Do you feel that, Juancito?
I do, but I don't know what it means. What's he up to this time?
I worry that if we don't kill him this time, it may be too late. This might be our last shot.
And you have nothing to lose.
I think on that's when all of you pause, led by Ira, in front of. There's no ladder here. It's just sort of like a vestibule in the middle of the caverns that has like various tunnels branching off of it, with kind of like a low vaulted rocky ceiling with all sorts of shadowy crenellations flickering, I think, underneath the dim light. Perhaps, shed by, I'm assuming someone has some sort of light source out, right? And like above your heads, you just see a massive, like a hole in the ceiling that almost looks like it could be a drainage or a sewer pipe. But based on your knowledge of the Citadel, as long as the actual architecture of the Citadel hasn't changed, up there is a hallway right next to the throne room.
We're here, folks.
Who do you think's gonna kill him?
Me,
All of us.
obviously.
No. All right, so Ira, wrong. Juancito, love the energy, buddy. I meant who's gonna do the killing blow, and by it's gonna be me. We're all aware of that.
Look, just because you're bigger than all of us doesn't make you stronger than all of us.
I think it legally does when I can get about 3 times your size.
Okay, how about this? Whoever gets the killing blow can functionally be the eldest out of all of us. Just for the next century.
By streets for like the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Because they're so strong. So you pick up the top if that's going to be you. Yes, no? Are we agreeing to this?
I'm fine.
Close.
I mean, listen, I feel like this is, I'm all about, friendly conflict, but is this the right time to... No, listen, let's go on with it. So yes, drinks for 20 years and functionally the eldest. Anything else? Does anybody want to throw a...
I'll show the other
should-
person's armor.
Or should we buy them drinks?
I think you buy me drinks is what I'm hearing.
Me, please.
Okay. Well, we need to make sure that we have the upper hand, so stealthy, okay? And at that, Ida is going to go invisible as they use their hidden step ability.
There goes Ira. Once again.
And what about the rest of you?
Do my best to be quiet.
Cool. How are we getting up there, folks? There's no ladder.
Can we climb it? It's rocks, right? Like we're inside
is
of like
rock.
a tunnel. So
Yes,
can
yes.
we rock climb?
You can try, yeah. If you're gonna be rock climbing, I'm gonna ask for an athletics roll.
That's fine.
Juancito's going to tighten up his chainmail armor as much as possible to not make it jingle jangle as much.
I got a 26 to rock
To
climbing.
climb. Okay.
29.
So if y'all are gonna be rock climbing, then roll athletics. If you have a different way of trying to get up there, you can introduce it now or roll athletics.
He has wings.
Okay. That seems
Can we-
efficient.
Can we carry anybody? Although he's so small.
Is this when carrying capacity actually becomes relevant? Nah, it's fine. I think as long as it's not Aaliyah, you could probably carry Juancito and Ida
Please
fairly
do.
competently.
Please do.
Ida's
I got
climbing. It's okay.
an 11.
Ida, you just always got to do it all by yourself because you're the oldest and you're like, I can do it. I don't need anybody's help. Sometimes you do.
You hear a disembodied voice coming from somewhere along the wall saying, "Yeah, I do. Now come on."
And I've already flown past.
Yeah, what kind of wings are they? How do they manifest?
So it's like a nice flourish out, and they're like sort of like tattered butterfly wings with just the lightest like through the veins of the wings, just like the lightest purple, but almost like transparent.
I really like that. Yeah, they come out maybe with like a powdery dust that sparkles off of it a little bit just for added flavor. And
He does have a little flourish.
you have some pizzazz. You got some showmanship going on here. I gotta respect the showmanship. You pick up Juancito. Juancito, I'm sorry. There's no cool way to get carried by someone. There's no cool way to get carried by your sister. No.
He'll just go like flailing out, just arms out, like what's the point? I'll just do this. I'll try and look as cool as possible, like grimacing, like just like make a face, like a mean face, but that's kind of embarrassing on the inside. Inside is like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
You're making it difficult.
I'm sorry. It's just, I'm not a baby. I am the youngest, but I'm not a baby.
Of course not. No, of course not.
I think with the flutter V, you go up this vertical tunnel with Juancito in your arms, and Ida and Aaliyah, the two of you, very competently do like some like really sexy and cool like rock climbing maneuvers, right? Like it looks so good. Aaliyah looks so good, and Ida, we can't see you, but presumably you look very good. And eventually, I think we like pan up to a hallway, kind of like let's see. I think maybe like a massive, beautiful, like sort of like sweeping hallway that has like carpet over it, and there are like various portraits and statues of just Euphemet in various stages of life. Like there's like maybe several dozen statues just down this with like all the different kinds of like outfits he's had, you know what I mean, like the different drip that he always like, like that he's got like various kinds of plate and various kinds of robes and like various crowns that he's like styled himself with, like in little nooks and crannies like all the way down. And we see this patch of carpet sort of like undulate and then vibrate and then just sort of like squanch up, like someone's like grabbing either end of a rope and just squanching it close, like it like tapers up as we hear like something, presumably like a pothole or something, just sort of like rattle and then get knocked to the side. And that's when I think the four of you come crawling out of the dungeons underneath the citadel.
All right, that kind of sucked.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was actually very easy.
I didn't say it was hard. I just said it sucked. Two things can be true.
I took a little bit of a nap coming up.
And this is why you're the baby brother.
Well, you gotta be well rested.
Okay, now that you've had your nap, are we good to keep going?
Yeah, let's do this.
What do we
All right.
see around us?
It's the hallway. On one end, it's the various nooks with the statues and paintings between them. And on the other side, I think, is just a glass wall. And you just see the citadel in all its glory. It's like little like domain, like this little lordship, this like massive hunk of rock that's been seized out of the earth and levitated into the air. Vast sweeping acres of lush forest, like various little townships that seem abandoned. You remember what Huai said about even the lords not being allowed up in the citadel for 3 centuries. You see like various dragons, their big shadowy forms sweeping past, I think, the glass. And you see the blood red horizon just sweeping out open in front of you as the twin suns continue to descend. The hallway extends for a while and hangs a right, you think? And based on your knowledge of the architecture, if you make that right, a throne room's right at the end of that other hall.
No time like the present, right?
Really there.
I can go on ahead if you want to give me a little bit and then follow.
You're still invisible, right?
Yes. You are hearing this as like a disembodied voice somewhere near you.
Sure. Wherever you are.
Okay. And so Ida is going to try and like push up against the wall and like very slowly and carefully creep up and like first I think like take a look around the corner to see if our father is actually there in the throne room right now or not.
So, yes, you're invisible. You creep along like the side of the wall. You look. The doors to the throne room are closed.
For fuck's sake.
Like these huge double doors.
Ida, I think, like taps on the wall to let the siblings know that they should come.
All right.
Guns a-blazing. It's all you.
Going in attacking? Going all out? Or is this how we want to do it?
V, we can't hear you.
Oh, should we have put a plan together, perhaps? You know, maybe we should actually back up a little bit and then talk it out. Like, you know, like when they do the sports games and then they have like, one side and
All right.
the other. I've got rocks in my pocket.
I have a plan. We're
Like,
going to hit him very hard, very fast, and then he will eventually die.
Cut his
no.
fucking head off. That's the
That-
plan.
Not a plan. Wait, where is he right now?
Presumably behind those doors. But we can't exactly get inside without alerting him to our presence, so I think we change our approach. We go
You want me
in.
to knock?
No. And
Guns.
you can't see it, but Ida's giving you a look like, no.
So like now we're just gonna go like in like full force, guns blazing.
I'm going to use a natural 20.
Oh no.
As you guys are diddling around the corner, you all hear the double doors bang open. And like a massive, like, I think, explosion of magic sweeps down the corridor. And I need, you know what? I need all of you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Not the intelligence save.
Got a 10.
I'm famously not smart. I got a 12.
What? I got a 4.
I got the same as my tallest sibling, a 12.
Okay, I think that means all of you fail. As this massive gust of magic, I think it just completely takes all of you by surprise as well. Go ahead, V.
It's magical resistance. I forgot to mention. Oh, we've got that as
Then you get
well.
advantage on saves.
Oh, I
if you
also
have
have
magical resistance.
that as well.
Yes. So you get
It's
to-
worse. Never mind.
Oh gosh. Okay, I got excited.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mine was actually an 8. It wasn't
5. It's a
Oh
5
my
now.
God.
God.
It went from a 4 to a
Jesus.
5.
We're really not a smart group.
No.
Maybe this is why we keep failing.
Can we use a table crit here? What if we just did that?
I used 1 to make a perception check to perceive that y'all are around the corner beyond the doors. We have another table crit left, just a single one.
I
wanna
think it
use
would
it
only
here?
apply to
Save,
one
save.
person. So if one person wants to save themselves,
Nope. I'm standing strong with my 5.
Okay. Then with that 5, all of you feel like hear the double doors bang open, magic just sweep through that corridor and like blow around the corner. And this magic isn't wind. It is a devastating wave of mental force. And I think all of you just hear your father's voice ring in your heads, exactly the same as when you last tried to kill him and fail. Say, well, my weak, pathetic little children, here to attempt to kill me again and fail. Don't you know that he who strikes first tends to win? And I think on that final growl, win, psychic pain just racks your brains, like racks through your bodies, like singeing your nervous system, as all of you take 45 points of psychic damage. And on that, we're gonna cut to break. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in so far. We will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Some quick announcements before we go to the BRB panel. As a reminder, FreeForge has other events going on this entire weekend. I'm going to plug some of them right now because they're really awesome. Chaos at CreatureCon is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. It's a Monster of the Week one-shot with Stemosis. Shout out to Stemosis. End Times is also tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. It's a level 20 D&D one-shot. Woo! With B. Dave Walters and a truly all-star cast, so check that out as well. And Cosmic Jelly is Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time, also a level 20 Space Jam inspired D&D with Dimples and Dice. And finally, second to last, finally, Trivia Night is this coming Monday. Also at, you guessed it, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, offline community event in the Discord with Strix and Candle. And finally, Golf with Your Friends is this coming Tuesday at, say it with me, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. It's a streamed community event with Jammy Whammy Games. So that's all of the cool stuff that's happening this weekend. Make sure to support. We're at level 16. Can we get to level 20 and join the prestige class of level 21 shots? Please, 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 by the time we get back. We love you so much. We'll be back in 10. Peace. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from break. Let's get right back into it. A reminder of the other events happening this weekend. Chaos at CreatureCon is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. Monster of the Week one-shot with Stemosis. That's going to be fun, so make sure to tune into that. Also tomorrow is going to be End Times. Ooh, at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. This is a level 20 D&D one-shot with B. Dave Walters. Make sure to check it out. Don't miss that. And on Sunday, also at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, is going to be Cosmic Jelly, a level 20 Space Jam inspired D&D one shot with Dimples and Dice. Welcome to the jam and slam and kill some jellies. And on Monday at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time is going to be Trivia Night, which is not a streamed event. It is an offline community event in the FreeForge Discord with Strix and Candle. So make sure to check that out. And finally, to round it out, is going to be Golf with Your Friends Tuesday at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, streamed community event with Jammy Whammy Games. Wow, what a slate of very fun events to do and to give to charity about. So speaking of which, we have unlocked level 20 for our PCs. They will be facing off against their dad at full power. And I'm still gonna TPK them, I'm sure. If you want... Listen, I feel like I'm being ganged up on. It's a 4v1 here, right? Action economy, yada, yada, yada. So, unlock ultimate daddy form for me, personally, pretty please, if we hit that 1k. If we hit 1k tonight, Euphemet is gonna get even worse. I promise. I can play this horrible man even worse. 100%, that is the Connie guarantee. And if we hit that secret goal past 1k, there's gonna be a truly, like, unhinged twist. It's going to be truly unhinged. That I don't think like my players don't know what it is. Like they have no idea. So I'm done pushing the charity. But thank you to everyone who's given so far. And now that that's out of the way, let's get right back into the action. We are going to start with rolling initiative. So go ahead and make that dex check for me.
I just want everyone to know I have a +1 to initiative at level 20.
Oh no.
Goodness.
I rolled a 16.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
17?
Gosh. 12
One-
for V.
22.
Ooh.
Okay. Let me just rearrange everyone in my little initiative tracker here.
Roll better.
You know what? I will be nice to you all and not use an advantage for my initiative roll. I'll be nice to you all.
You're so
Oh.
kind.
Gosh, I forgot.
Okay. Yes, you're very welcome.
Mine's actually different. I forgot I had advantage because I'm new. This is my first time playing, everybody. I'm just kidding. 18 for V.
18. Okay, that does bump
Yes.
you up. Okay, let's see. Just before Juancito. Cool. Sounds good. So first off, we are going to go to Aaliyah. Aaliyah, you are around the corner. You can easily peek around the hall, I think, into, like, down this corridor, from which this, like, devastating, just massive tidal wave of psychic pain and suffering swept down. Around the corner are these huge, massive, like, double oak doors flung open as though with, like, a gale force wind. And you see Euphemet, your Lord Father, God of gods, King Undying, standing, I think, at the gates, so to speak. Muscular arms splayed, alabaster mane rippling down his spine like white surf. His golden black eyes are, I think, open and blazing. I think he doesn't even look mad. He looks excited. And he's sort of like muttering something. His lips are like moving as though he's trying to recall a memory but can't quite get there. But he's not speaking at you. He's just sort of muttering something ambiently. And as always, he is a giant of a man, of a god, surrounded behind him by perfect marble pillars and prismatic windows hanging down from the ceiling, crawling vines of green ensconced in dusky radiance. He looks exactly the same as last time. And the time before that. And the time before that. Everything else in the realms changes, withers, dies, but Euphemet is perfectly preserved forever. And the magic. It pours off his body in waves, bleeding through the weave, shimmering like light, shafting through oceanic depths. He's definitely doing something. You're just not sure what. You are, let's say, 50 feet away. What do you do?
I think I slowly walk up. I'm not going to catch him in this turn. And I think I walk up. I'm going to say use a bonus action to summon my animated shield. And it's just going to start, it's probably like a small buckler on my wrist that just begins to float and hover around me. And so, you know you're not going to win this time, right?
What makes you so sure? I know everything there is to know about you and your siblings, all of your weaknesses, all of your strengths. You think you can best me? Then you are either foolish or misguided or desperate.
No, just determined. I'm going to actually try for once. And I think I'm just going to take the dodge action as well and be ready. I'm just
Okay,
going to wait for my siblings to walk in too.
Okay, are you going to use your like speed to get to within like 30 feet of him, or are you going to stay 50 away?
I'm going to get within 30.
Within 30 feet of him. Okay, cool. So you walk forward, take out your shield, and you get like you roll your shoulders and you get ready. You sort of limber yourself up and get ready to face him. Okay, let's see. At the end of your turn, when your turn is over, Euphemet is going to, I think, let out a laugh. We're not even past the threshold, my darling children. Let's make the battlefield a little bit more salient, yes? And he's going to, I think, flick his beautiful, almost delicate artisan's hands, I think, in like a very precise sigil and pull at the weave, and all of you feel magic just like suck like at your souls, like outward. And I need all of you to make a dex save.
I use dispel magic on that.
Is that a reaction you can take? Yeah,
Nope.
no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Unless any of you have, well, this isn't a spell. This isn't a spell. This is a lair action. So let me know what your dex saves are. You can use advantage if you want. We have like 3, I believe, and 3 table crits.
I'm going to take one of the table advantages.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to the audience. It was worse.
We still have 2, and we have a crit. We have 3 crits.
I have 24.
You got 24?
Yeah.
21
Okay.
for V.
21
as
for V?
well.
I'm going to take
21.
the other one. I'm
Okay.
taking the other advantage.
Just take
Yeah,
the
we
20.
left.
Take the 20.
Nat 20! No, it rolled a nat 20. It's fine.
Nice.
What's the total?
21.
All of you except Juancito fail. So, let's see. Okay, on a failed save, I think all of you just sort of feel like the magic sort of pull at the threads of the weave of the magic of the arcane power that surges through your veins. Like it's a horrifying feeling, right? Like hooks being dug into your nerves and just wrenched toward him. And I think it's hard to tell if it's you that moves or if it's the world around you that shifts. Because from your perspective, y'all were just at the end of this hallway around the corner, and then the hallway suddenly just like tightens and warps toward you, almost like you're standing in a warp tunnel, and it's like light and color are just gashing and gasping all around you in like these long bleeding lines of watercolor, and then bam, those of you who fail are going to take 27 force damage from the trauma of being hurtled through space. And you are going to be repositioned to a place of his choosing. So, Aaliyah, you are going to be at the foot of the throne, inside the throne room, at the very bottom of the steps of the dais. You're standing there. B, you are going to be in the middle of the throne room, which is massive, just like standing in the middle of this like lush red tongue of carpet with pillars all around you, Aaliyah maybe 50 feet in front of you, and Ira, you are going to be on the other side of the dais as Aaliyah. So the three of you sort of form a triangle. You know what I mean? Like Aaliyah on one side of the throne, Ira on the other, and V, pulling the player into the game. V is going to be on the carpet. Juancito, with a success, you will take half damage. So 27 half, that's going to be 13. And you will be deposited to a random place. So roll me a d4.
1.
You are dropped 10 feet directly in front of Euphemet. So Euphemet is still at, I think, the gates, and you are, bam, just directly in front of him. He's turned around, so your back is to the throne room, and your back is to your siblings, and he sort of, like, gestures another hand, and bam, oof, like the massive doors to this hall slam shut as he's right in front of you. And because you are more than 30 feet away from your closest sibling, they don't get their passive boons to their saving throws. I don't think you've brought that up, but I just wanted to drive that point home. So that's gonna be that action. Next up is going to be V.
I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that I'm doing this right. Drop a level 5 mass cure wounds. 3d8 plus 5.
Level 5, you said?
Level 5, yeah.
What does it look like as the magic starts to bubble up and brim within you?
It starts, you can actually see it moving from like my belly, and there's like this glow that kind of matches my eyes, a yellow, and it bubbles up through me, and then I kind of like raise my hands in the air, and it sort of shoots out of my hands as this wave of healing energy washes out from myself to my siblings. And let me roll.
Before you do that, as the energy bubbles up through your body, this healing surge, your father goes, "I don't think so." And sort of quenches his hand into a fist as he counterspells that mass healing. And I think it feels like water about to surge through you that's suddenly damned. So like a counterspell of this, it's kind of painful. Like the magic that wanted to come out of you is suddenly stoppered, and it's lost, it's gone, and it's almost like missing a beat.
Euphemet? More like you've never met a worse father.
Well, become better children to deserve it. Do you have any other actions or bonus actions or anything you can take on your turn?
Yeah. As a bonus action, I'm gonna pull out my spiritual weapon.
Cool. What does it look like?
It is going to actually look like a scythe. And it's black with like a very dark, sort of like pewter colored blade.
Nice.
And,
like a reaping scythe.
Yeah, yes. How far away from him am I? I'm like 50 feet, right?
Something, yeah, let's say 50, yeah.
So I'll just put it right by his stupid head.
Yeah. This like pewter black scythe like unravels into existence, I think emanating like death energy, right? Like your death magic right next to him. And he looks at it and goes, "Ha! Well, that's new, isn't it? Seems like every time I kill you brats, you gain a few extra tricks up your sleeve. But no matter, you'll die all the same. And I will relish in it."
That's level 3, by the way.
Cool. Level 3 spiritual weapon. Love it. Is that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn, let's see. Okay. Euphemet sort of scans, Okay, you know what, why not? Let's do y'all first. Okay. Euphemet is going to look down at you, Juancito, at the end of V's turn. You're like 10 feet away from him. You can like smell the divinity like radiating off of his alabaster mane. Looks down upon you and says, "What, dear son, was the first and most important rule I've ever drilled into you ever since you were young?
Juancito's kind of like panicking. You see a little panic in his eyes. He was not expecting to be right in front of Dad. He's gripping his longsword and has his shield up in front of him. And he's just readying himself, just defensive. Words aren't coming through his mouth. He's just shocked right now.
Sure. I love that, actually. I really love that. I think he senses that shock, that hesitation, that, like, oh my god, like, what's happening? Like, oh, gods, he's right here. And he smiles, and he cocks his head to the side at you, Juancito, and he says, "The weak, Juancito, the weak are meant to be governed. That's the number one law of the realms. Tell me, my son, are you weak or are you strong?"
At the when he says strong, he grips his shield and sword even tighter and just kind of like readies. And with his whole chest, he screams out like, "I'm strong!" And just tries to like bear down and kind of like make ready whatever's coming.
Okay, like you bear down upon it. Yeah, you like grit your teeth, you're like holding onto your weapon, like, yes, you are strong, because you're a freaking demigod. But Euphemet looking down at you, "You're right, Juancito. All of you are strong. The part of me that lives in all of you is what makes you strong. My magic, my divinity, my radiance. That's what makes you have dominion over the realms. It is the mortality in you. It is your person's side that makes you weak, Juancito." And as he speaks at you, I think, Juancito, your mother's voice, yet again, I think is like stirred up by what he's saying, right? And like, what memory, I think, like flashes through your eyes as he's talking to you about being weak and strong?
The memory of playing with his siblings and trying to wrestle with V and Aaliyah when they were sparring, and thinking that he's big enough to go ahead and join in, and tries to get in a few quick hits, but with Aaliyah being so tall, when Aaliyah turns, Juancito kind of runs into her leg and gets knocked off, tumbles and scrapes his knee, and he grabs it and he's crying and it's bleeding, and he just keeps on saying like, "I'll never be strong enough to play with them, to fight alongside them. I just can't. They're so much bigger than me. They're so much faster than me. They'll never ever take me along with them." And he's just like crying. And I think that's when his mother comes up and reassures him that you don't have to be strong to fight with them. You don't have to be the fastest or tallest to fight with them. You just have to hold on to the hope that you'll make it to the end with all of them.
I think like as you think of like Aaliyah and your mother and her like warm, soothing words, I think we even like hear her voice again. Just go like, and you feel her like feeling like soothing hands like on your shoulders, like helping, like picking you up, like tending to your scraped knee. Juancito, you have so much and joy and love in your heart to share. I know you want to be big and strong like your older siblings. You'll get there, you'll grow up. But strength, Juancito, isn't what makes your siblings valuable or matter to the world. No. You, your heart, your kindness, your perspective, your softness, Juancito. That's what separates you. That's what makes you special. And to me, my child, that's what makes you divine.
Nipples, and he just grips even tighter and just kind of like nods in like affirmation of it, and you see like a new resolve just come over Juancito. He's not as scared as he was when he popped 10 feet in front of his father. He's determined now.
I really like that. I think your father, upon seeing this determination flourish in your face, that seems to piss him off, actually. More than anything, more than V's like cutting retort, like more than like that perseverance in the face of his mightiness is what truly gets him tilted. And he's like looking down at you and goes, You, Juancito, you and Aaliyah both. Shivering fools, using softness and kindness as an excuse for your weakness. Everything deserves kindness, that's what your mother used to say. Don't make me laugh. But I deserve kindness in your eyes, my child. Am I the exception to the rule? Is that why you seek to kill me? For the greater good? If so, then you are nothing more than a hypocrite. At least honor what your mother and I had by seeing it with clear eyes. You tarnish her name. You think she stood for kindness for all? Perhaps she did. But that was her flaw, Juancito, her downfall, what made her small and weak and pathetic and human, not what made her beautiful. You disgust me.
That you lost that. You're so far in the dark, you don't even know where the light is at. We're here to show you that no matter how deep you are, how much darkness you're shrouded by, that the light will come. It will find you. And we can make you happy again. We could give you hope again. It doesn't have to be like this.
You think I want your hope? You insolent wretch! And he's going to, I think, throw out his hand and I think send like a wave of, again, psychic energy blowing through you. So make an intelligence save. And remember, we have quite a few... Let's see what we have. We have 1 advantage and 3 crits.
That's a 15.
Is that your final answer?
I kind of want to save it for later. We're still going.
I'd say dump all your biggest things first. I don't know how many rounds of combat we're gonna get, probably just 1 or 2. So burn through them resources, baby. Burn those like 9th level spells. Go for it. That's my advice. Do it. Go all out.
What I'm gonna cast then is I'm going to cast Summon Celestial.
Ooh, we can do that on your turn. I think this is just a save.
Okay. This is just a save. Then
this is still
you know
technically
what?
a
Let me take
legendary
that crit. Let me take that auto crit then.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. So what does that bring that total up to? Just so I
that would be a 24.
That is definitely a success. And with a crit, I think usually a success you take half, but with a crit I'll roll, you don't take any. So he's trying to like just send this like psychic wave of pain gashing at you again, but you're able to steel yourself. You hold on to to that memory. A very, almost like mundane, casual memory, but that's what gets you through this, right? That memory of Aaliyah, playing with Aaliyah, your mother being soft and gentle with you, that Kaya lily blooming, that's what makes you strong. And as you hold on to that, you're able to weather that psychic.
Shrug it all. And I say to her, you loved her. Don't you forget it. And it's her love that's going to save us.
I love nothing. But you can tell you've really, like, riled him up, right? So, on that, we are going to go to your turn. Speak of the devil.
Say you love nothing, but you love conquest. You love power. Who's the hypocrite?
Hello. Dare you talk back to your father? I made you. I gave you life. I gave you strength. I give you everything that makes you special. My blood in your veins is what makes you divine.
And act like a father. And that's when I summon a celestial.
Yeah. Okay. How does that work? What are you? What celestial are you trying to call?
I will let it be your choice, Connie. I will let it be your choice. This is a large celestial. I just have a stat block when I cast this.
Okay. So has Juancito summoned a celestial before, like in the past? Is there like a particular celestial that comes to aid or anything like that?
No, I don't think he has before. I think, this resolve is like all new to him. This confidence he has is new to him. All these abilities are just suddenly like never been there before. It's been, he's tapping into something new.
Ooh, I really love that.
I like that idea. I do like that.
I like that idea in chat too, from Dare/Aaliyah, based on the ghosts of the old order who helped us. I love that. Yes. Okay. Yes, absolutely. So I think swirling into existence next to you, almost as like a guardian angel, like a blast of divine radiance explodes into existence. And we see almost like a ghostly form of a large woman. She is, I think, clad in this like plate armor, and she's got this like shaved head, I think, with like glowing gold tattoos just rhyming up her neck, like covering her face all the way down, like the back of her skull, like all the way around her like muscular arms as well. And what kind of weapon does a celestial wield in your stat block?
Level it down. Let's say this is going to have a radiant mace. This is a defender.
Okay, yeah, she holds like a mace in one hand, right? Like this like long, I think, handle, I think with maybe like a cooler version of a mace with like a chain and like a morning star hanging off the end, like spiked. And it's like pulsing with like energy and magic, right? And I think her eyes are like pure white, like Korra in Avatar state, right? Because you can't like really see her features; they're just sort of beaming out. And I think she's got these wings that like furl like open behind her shoulder blades. These like massive, almost like obsidian, like dark, like black wings with feathers that just ripple. And this woman looks familiar to all of you. She looks like one of the mortals from maybe like 500 or 600 years ago that like was a leader of the Sentinels of Hope, who I think maybe all of you really liked a lot because she was like super level-headed and she was a really strong fighter and she was around for 2 cycles because she lived a really long time, like beyond what mortals usually live, because she honed her body and she like trained as hard as she could. And it's said that after she died, she ascended to become an angel from how much work she put into adventuring. So here she is now, and I think her name is Zara. And Zara is like looking like down upon you, Juancito, right? And like she's like burning, her eyes just like fix upon your face and then swivels to look at Euphemet, who's just... "Ah, you dare use my celestial power against me."
Yes. Of course. Because you said, take control of the weak. And now you will be the one who will be weakened.
Oh, and Zara, like, brimming with energy next to you, looks down, and she can, like, the Celestial can communicate with you telepathically, right? I'm assuming? Like, does it speak?
It obeys your commands and actually required. I think it doesn't say anything about speaking.
You know what? I'll just say she can. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's cooler if she can talk. Yeah, and her mouth doesn't move, but all of you hear this kind of, like, radiant voice echo through the interior of this throne room. Juancito, Ida, Aaliyah, V, it is an honor to meet again on the battlefield. Something this time feels different, and I know all of our deaths will not have been in vain. What do you do, Juancito?
I still have bonus action, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to back up like 15 feet. I want to stay like still within like attack range from that. I don't want to break that.
Okay. His range for an opportunity attack is 10 feet. So would you
Okay,
still like to move out of range?
Yeah. No, I would still want to be within that 10-foot range. The Celestial goes within, I believe it takes unoccupied space, which I could see. So I want to say it goes like behind him. So I'm like,
Sounds good.
He's like sandwiched in between us.
Sounds good. Yeah, she like just moves on like a whisper of wind and like flurries behind him and like just like a shattering of obsidian feathers.
So then I'm just gonna have my shield up at the ready, 10 feet away from him, and just end my turn there.
Okay.
Which then it's the Celestial turn because it shares the same initiative as me and goes right after me.
Wonderful. All right, so what does she do?
She is going to take her mace and swing at him.
Make an attack roll for her.
It's a 13. Unfortunately.
So you can either use an advantage, we have one left, or one of the 2 crits if you want, or I have a devil's bargain for you.
I want to know what this devil's bargain's in. I'm not going to take it. I just want to know what it is.
How I like to run combat is if you miss, you can deal damage anyway, but the person dealing the damage will also take damage. Basically, trade blows.
I will take advantage.
Okay. We're down to 0. Roll again.
19?
That would not hit. Would you like to use a crit or a devil's bargain or let it miss? For context, he's taken 0 damage so far.
Yeah, I will let it miss.
Okay. Are you not? You don't want to get hit back?
Well, it's not me.
Yeah, it would be Zara.
Yeah, and I kind of want to keep the spirits a little happy, so no.
Okay, sounds good. I think what this looks like is Zara like swings her mace back and boom, like flings it forward. But Euphemet raises a hand without even turning around to look at her and catches it, right? And sort of like throws it back at her. She sort of like I think winds up for like her next attack in the future. And Euphemet just goes, "Though you may have ascended to celestial status now, dearest Zara, I still remember when you were a gibbering mortal whelp."
She actually has a multi-attack.
Go for it.
That's even less, so not gonna make it.
Okay. I'm assuming you're just gonna let it miss?
Yeah, they're gonna let it miss.
Okay, we've got 2 crits left. At
Nope.
the end of your turn. All right.
Nope.
Juancito, at the end of your turn, Ira, Euphemet turns his attention toward you, like 50 feet away, right? Like by the throne, you, the eldest, the firstborn. And he's looking at you. He seems to have like shoved Juancito to the side for now. Seems like it probably won't get through to him, but he like tries to talk to you about, like, almost like he's trying to get you to see his side or something. And he just goes, Ira, you and I, we are more alike, I think, than you would like to admit, other than the fact that I am, of course, your holy and most divine father. You, Ira, eldest, firstborn, so level-headed, the thread, the glue that binds your family together, that keeps your half-siblings tied. You've got rage in you, don't you? You've got a desire to, make me scream in pain, inflict the same suffering on me that I've inflicted upon you and your siblings for millennia and centuries and decades over and over and over again. A part of you likes this, isn't it? The rush, the adrenaline, the fight, the games. Admit it.
Even if I did, you deserve it. All of these people that you hurt every single day, they do not. But you, yeah. When I finally kill you, I'm going to make it slow and painful. And I'm going to enjoy every second of it.
If I do die, which will never happen, I would want it to be no other way. I want you to feel the pleasure of killing, of inflicting suffering on someone who you think deserves it, because if you do that to me, I know I will live on forever in you.
And I think Ida at that kind of like takes a step back and then shakes their head, trying to shake off that feeling of Euphemet living on spiritually inside of them, because they have tried so hard to push every part of themselves that is anything like their dad out. They say, no. You will not live on. Not in me, not in any of us. I won't let it.
A part of you wants me to, doesn't it? A part of you relishes it. You feel your blood calling to me, and I feel it call to you. And I need you to make a whiz save.
Why would you do this to me?
I am targeting your weakest saves, yes.
I got a nat 20 though. 21?
So what? Possible.
You said you're targeting our weakest stats.
You're right. If
literally
you get a
did
nat
this.
20, then you won't take any damage. Damn it. Why'd I have to roll that way? You know what? It's fine. I'm putting y'all through the ringer, but I will not be needlessly cruel. Oh, okay. So, how do you stand strong?
I think using the words that her other father, had said to her, which was that the thing that will keep you grounded is a spark, and the best spark is love. And for Ida, that is their siblings. After their dad passed away, that was the only family that they had left because, well, she refuses to see Euphemet as her family at all. And I think as Euphemet is talking to him, Ida looks around, like flicking from one sibling to the other, and it steals their resolve.
I really like that. And even as like you feel these like whispering tendrils, like he's trying to call your blood toward his, whatever that means, but it doesn't take hold. Like you just feel like the whispers, but you block it out. And you look at your siblings who are fighting the good fight. You see that Deva, like you see Aaliyah, you see V, you see Juancito, and your heart is steeled. And it feels strong and good. And you also like feel, it's almost like you feel your father's presence, an echo of their memory just reverberating through your soul, and that angers you. Oh, and he is livid. He is livid that he was unable to get Juancito, and he's livid that he was unable to get you, Ida. So that, and he just go, I think he, the two of you, how many times must I drill this lesson into you until it sticks? And it's your turn, Ida.
All right. How far away is our dad?
Like 50 feet.
Okay. I'm going to walk into a trap. I am going to ask you for a devil's bargain to allow me to move further than I actually can in order to get up to him.
Without dashing? Okay.
Without dashing.
All right.
So, Ida will, after this conversation with Euphemet, I think their resolve is steeled and they're ready. They want to kill this god before them, so they run forward like screaming, running as fast as their legs will carry them towards him. And as they do so, they pull off the scimitar off their back, and another one appears in its place, like rippling into existence, and they pull the other one in their other hand, dual wielding these scimitars. One that is like just a plain curved blade, the other one has like these ornate carvings of waves along its blade. And as they do so, when they get up to Euphemet, before they attack, they're going to activate their rage. And as a wild magic barbarian, that means I have to roll on the wild magic table to see what happens. So I rolled a 5. Whenever a creature hits me with an attack roll before my rage ends, it takes 1d6 force damage.
Cool.
Just gonna keep that in mind. And with that, Ida is going to make 2 attacks. One with the regular scimitar and one with the magical scimitar.
Go for it. I'm gonna say, as part of the Devil's Bargain, he will get to hit you for free, just as part of the bargain. So you will definitely take some damage at least.
Okay, I got hold on, I have to do math. Oh god, that's not correct. I got a 35 for one.
That will hit. A 35 will hit.
26 for the other.
That will also hit.
Okay. Let's do damage here. He will take 9 points of slashing damage plus, give me 1 second to just figure out, 13 points of slashing damage. And his speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Cool. Is that it?
I'm looking at my stuff.
I feel like you should be dealing a lot more damage than that at level 20 as a barbarian.
I'm like, I also feel that way, and I'm like,
Are you holding your weapons?
yes, this is me.
I meant on the D&D Beyond or whatever.
Oh, wait, I forgot to add my bonuses.
Oh my, there we go. I knew you were doing something, buddy.
I was like, you're gonna do 22 points
Add
of damage.
14, add 14 damage.
Okay.
I'm not
I
rolling.
can't wait for my
I forgot
turn.
to add my bonuses. I was like, this feels wrong.
I
This
have
feels
some
so
fucking
wrong.
wacky bullshit ready.
But yes, that's my turn. That's all of my bonus move and actions.
Okay. Your scimitars come out, slash, as your rage explodes off your body, like rippling, like it empowering you, and he takes it. Where are you slashing at him?
I think Ida wasn't kidding when they said that we are going to decapitate our father. That's what they're trying to do.
Like at his like head, neck area? Okay.
Like in the
Well,
maw, basically.
Yeah. He is 12 feet tall, so I'm assuming you're like jumping up a little bit to try to like cut him down.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think your scimitars like carve into his mane, but his mane is so thick, it's almost like an extra layer of armor, right? So you do hurt him, like you could feel your scimitars carving into flesh and muscle, but he just sort of like laughs. Like an elephant being stung by like a little bee or something. He just laughs as your like scimitars carve into him, and he goes, ha ha ha, I do have to commend you for something, Ida. And like he like holds like a delicate, like gentle, beautiful hand up to his carved in mane and draws it out, and you see just a little smear of golden blood. You made me bleed. That's a first. And then he, I think, tenses his hand into a claw, and immediately that delicate violist's hand like warps and twists, and like the fingers elongate and turn into these sharp, like rending claws. And I think they turn, what's fun here? They turn like icy blue, just like a prismatic magic just winds its way up his wrist, and like his nails and his claws turn almost like into icicles, and he is gonna rake you with like a cold claw for 18 points of force damage and 27 points of cold. So that is 45 total. Is that the end of your turn?
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
If I am dual wielding weapons, am I like, is 2 attacks like 1 with each, or with my extra attack, or is it?
It's 1 attack is 1 with each.
Oh, okay. In that case, I am going to attack him again
Okay. Okay.
with my extra attack.
Yes.
And one is going to be a 21, and the other is going to be a 23.
Neither of those would hit.
I'm gonna. Do we have a crit? I'm taking the crit if we have it.
We do. We have 1 crit. I'll let that crit count for both.
No.
Okay. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't care now. I'm doing it.
No. No.
Don't
Okay.
take this away from me.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So with a crit, we have 1 left on the table. I will give you a choice. You can either roll, you can either take max damage, and then roll again, or you can roll double dice and get a narrative boon of your choice.
I want double dice and a narrative boon.
Go for it. Let's do the damage first. Roll double dice on both attacks.
Okay. Give me 1 second. He will take 37 points of slashing damage. And because he attacked me, he will also take 2 points of force damage.
Cool. Have you been adding your rage damage?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I just
Okay,
have
good.
D6s for my poor little attacks.
Your scimitars?
Okay? Yeah, they're
Good
just
to know, good to know.
D6s.
All right, cool. Okay, so what is a narrative boon you'd like to score?
Okay. Given that our father has been trying to get to us and has been failing, first with Juancito, then with me, and now for the first time ever, we have made him bleed. I would like for him to be to not be thinking straight. Like, I want his anger to cloud his capacity to make sound decisions. So that we can kind of take, so we can take advantage of it.
You know what? I will give it to you. He has been specifically targeting each of your weak saves and your vulnerabilities, and I think I will stop. He will stop doing that. He will start, like, mechanically speaking, that's what will happen, and he will also start, I think, getting a little bit more hectic, a little bit more chaotic, a bit sloppy, right? So as you, like, cleave into him again, he actually, I think, reels back a bit as you don't stop. You keep going, and you draw more blood. And he goes, what is this? What is this? Ida, you actually think you can do it this time, huh? How sweet will it be for you to have that hope and for me to quench it regardless? But you can tell he's riled, right? Like, his mane's almost like lifting off his skin, like off his fur, as he's starting to get angry and sloppy.
And I think just in response, before my turn ends, Ida is going to take one of their scimitars and that has his blood on it, is going to, like, lick it and go, you taste like death.
Oh, that's sexy. Okay, yeah. So on that, at the end of your turn, Euphemet is going to turn and look at V. Sort of the same thing. He's trying to appeal almost to each of you in some way. V, my sweet, sardonic, sarcastic daughter. You do get that from me, don't you know?
That and a real shitty attitude.
V, like Ida, I know there is a seed of darkness in your heart. There is a part of you that knows there is something beautiful about the process of a violent death. I've done so many horrible things to you, haven't I? Doesn't a part of you just want to be a little cruel?
You have no idea.
Then bring it on! Attack me. Come, throw away your reservations and let me see the part of you, V, that is truly divine.
Is it my turn?
If that's okay, that feels like a good place to ask for a save. That's a legendary action. Okay, he's not thinking straight, so he's gonna ask for a whiz save from our cleric.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Where are you? 29.
That does save. Yes. Yes, it does. So I think what that means is, how do you steel yourself against his
So I want to rip him apart. Like, I definitely want to be as cruel as he is to him. I've been teetering, and I'm getting pushed towards the edge. But I think about what my mother said, and I got into the study of death and being a cleric and working towards vanquishing him, all as a means to an end. And I think about how, crossing over would affect my siblings, who, again, like others have said, are all I have left. And as I said before to Juancito, like little J, as she refers to him, his hope gives us hope.
This seems to be a common theme among the siblings, standing together, strong, united, greater than he is alone, right? And I think he sees that, that guardedness in your eyes. You're not rising to the bait like he wants you to, and you feel like some sort of like psychic influence trying to get at you, but you're able to close your mind down and not let him in, right? With your very successful whiz save, and he just. And it's going to be his turn, and he is hopping mad.
Okay.
So let's do it. This entire time, the magic that's been swirling around in this hall, that's been emanating like half a mile down, that you could sense at the parapets at the very base of the Sky Citadel, the magic that he's been ritually casting, I think, swirls and comes to a head. He raises his arms up and just makes a big circular motion, and all of you feel just the weave begin to, there's no other way to describe it, hemorrhage. You feel, I think, Ira, those glimpses of those different kinds of realities and planes suddenly start bleeding into the material plane in full force. All of you see just a black streak of shadow just suddenly tear into existence, like an artist daubing massive ink onto a brush and just slashing it across the canvas. Just a black void energy just ripple across that bleeds, I think, the Shadowfell, as you see grim, dark, twisted, crumbled rock, withered bloom, the smell of charcoal, ash, blood, and then also bleeding out of nowhere, various chaotic swirls of the elemental planes. You see glimpses of a roaring infernal, licking red tongues of flame, a gushing torrent of water, a tidal force of rushing liquid, the smell of upturned earth, hard chunks of rock flying through the air. I think one flies over your head, V, and disappears through the Shadowfell rift. You also hear gale force winds howling around you, and at the same time, a multicolored rift opens up near the ceiling, and the Feywild sort of bursts with color, trees, vines. You see vibrant emerald green fronds and branches ribbon in every direction, slick with moss and rain and fairy lights, and then bam, erupting up in gouts of flame next to your feet. The nine hells breaching into this reality. A gout of molten rock, yawning chasm starts opening up, brimming with these sharp spikes, the screaming of tortured souls emanating into this hall. You also see a claw of the abyss barfing forth, a blasted field of seething darkness, earth trampling into dust, corpses sprawling in every direction, a sky from beyond sundered by war, and cranking the cogs of Mechanus, cranking metallic wheels against marble, massive spinning cogs of iron and clockwork perfection, artificial eyes flickering everywhere in rigid omniscience. You see the far realm. Above it all, bubbling and seething in swirling purple oblivion, the glimmering specks of stars folded between massive chemical trails of lambent cosmic dust, and Celestia even glistens into existence, also far beyond here, bleeding radiant light and myth, all shining brass and polished horn and gold, and the angelic sound of distant singing choruses. It's pandemonium. These realities begin sort of like swirling. They don't stay static. The rifts kind of move around you, almost like a tornado or a whirlpool. Like colors just bleeding out. They start to like melt into each other. Like some of you see a Jiangshi, like a hopping vampire from the Shadowfell, like distend and melt into like an Armonite, which is kind of like a devil-like centaur, and they they cohere together to form this like Frankenstein kind of beast, like a vampire centaur devil thing, right? We see all these different realities starting to coalesce, and Euphemet is the eye of the storm, so to speak. As you feel arcane power just whipping around him, he's like sustaining this, and he lets out a laugh. Fools! You know what I've been doing for the past 2 centuries and 70 years? Actually, how far back does our little conflict extend? How many centuries, how many almost thousands of years have we fought this battle, my children? Every single time I've seen you grow stronger, that is true, but every single time, so have I. And last time, I was able to harvest enough energy to do what I've always wanted to do. Ever since I conquered the realms and there was nothing left for me to dominate. Write the world anew. I shall obliterate not just the realms, but all the planes of existence, and I shall fashion a new world built in my image with children who will love me and who will not question me and who will be forever grateful for me.
You don't
Y'all can
deserve
respond however you
love.
want. Go ahead. Sorry, say that again.
You don't deserve love. Not from us, not from anyone.
Don't I? Ida, well, what would your mothers and your father say? They loved me.
We all make mistakes.
Aaliyah. And I think amidst this like swirling chaos and madness, he fixes his gaze upon you. Aaliyah, my stalwart champion of a daughter, Aaliyah. You and I, well, we are one and the same, aren't we? You are like Ida, you are like V, and even a little bit like Juancito. There is a part of you that relishes in this, isn't there? Join me. Join me in building this new world, this clean slate. Aren't you sick of it? This karmic cycle rising up over and over and over again to mortals who are ungrateful, who can never understand the suffering you have to go through. They are not like us at all. We are gods. Should we not rule over them, as is our right?
I think she nods at a lot of that. I'm not unlike you, Dad. I've always been as big as you, and, you know, I do love to fight. I can't even pretend I don't like beating other people. But I do actually like taking care of things, too. Mom's taught me that. But I'll at least send you off in a good way.
Your mother. Oh, yes, your mother. No, how could I forget her? So strong, so proud, so powerful. You know what her downfall was. She was mortal. And like all mortals, she had to die, didn't she? Tell me, how did it feel to go back to that forest sanctuary and see it overrun, dead. That is the destiny of mortality, to always die and be forgotten. But as a god, Aaliyah, as a god, you can throw your weight around like a sledgehammer however you like, and not reap any repercussions. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that sublime? As you ruminate on that, make me a... Okay, because he's not thinking straight. Let me look at you, Aaliyah.
I'm strong.
You are strong. I think as he says that, he, like, crunches his hand into a fist, and you feel a pressure start to... like a physical pressure start to bear down on you as he says that. He's trying to force you physically to accept. So make a con save for me.
All right, wonderful. Let me see if I have any fun special things for Constitution saves. I don't. It's fine. Okay. Will a 25 suffice?
Yeah, that will. Okay, none of my taunts are working. But yes, that will suffice. Tell me how you brush it off.
I think just sort of like the pressure of like his force and might does begin to barrel down on her, and she, I think, it's my turn after this, isn't it?
It sure is.
I think this is just a smooth ass transition then, because she just nods like, I'm a lot like you, but I am bigger than you. I'm so much bigger than you. I'm so much better than you. As she activates her giant's might, and she goes from about 8 feet tall to, let's say, I become the size of a huge creature. So I believe that's like 16 to 32 feet or something like that. So let's say 17 and a half.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, you tell me what this looks like.
I think she just like feels the weight of it and begins to like take a step forward. And with every step forward, she begins to stand up straighter, and she just doesn't shrink. She just continues to get bigger and bigger as she walks closer to her father. Hey, Connie, you want to know something fun? I don't know if you know what I'm a fighter and I have action surge. Do you know how many attacks a level 20 fighter gets? I'm going to roll 8d20 real quick. Let me see. An 8 metal d20. This is going to sound like hell.
Go for it. Just roll them all. Just roll them all.
It's a bomb going off. I love it. Okay, let's see. All right, this is a lot of numbers right here. Okay, so I have 19, 16, 27, 25, nat 20, 26, 29, 29. I believe that's correct.
The only 2 miss.
Okay. Do we have any advantages or anything?
We have 1 crit left.
I'm going to take one of those. I'll only miss 1 hit.
Okay. So 2 nat 20s and 5? 6? 5.
5.
5 regular hits. Let's do the regular hits first.
Yeah, that's right. The math on
Yeah,
that.
5 regular hits. Yep.
Okay.
So roll damage for the regular hits.
Okay. So let me see how many d6s. I also have great weapon fighter, so I can reroll any 1s or 2s. I have been built for 1 turn and 1 turn only.
Aaliyah's out here carrying us on the damage front.
I started way low. I wasn't thinking. It's gonna be over before we know it.
Okay, so
I don't like how Connie has the monster manual out and is smiling. Nope. Nope.
You didn't see that.
okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to do some good maths real fast. This is bad.
Connie adding a 0 to the end of Euphemit's HP.
Me being like, let me just bump
I've
it
seen your
over.
TikToks. Yeah, I know you.
Oh.
Okay, So that's. and
Can we
then-
get Daddy to his ultimate form, chat? I feel like the tides have turned somehow.
All right, what's 8 times 5?
40.
So for just the first 5 hits, that's 74 damage. And then what do I do for the crits now?
You get to choose. You can either take full damage and then roll again for both of them, or you can roll double dice and get a narrative boon per crit.
I think one of each. Why not?
Okay.
I'll max damage for the for one of them. That is pretty simple. That's 20 damage for one hit. And then let's see.
And you also get to roll dice on top of that.
Oh gosh.
Get to roll dice once
Oh my
for the
gosh.
max. Yeah.
Okay. My bad. I forgot. Sheesh. And then on top of that, that is 5 more added to that. And then for the rolling double, this is disgusting. 14 plus 8, so it's 22. 22. And then for the narrative boon, I think I simply I want him to be afraid. I want real fear to have sunk in for maybe the first time ever.
Okay. What does it look like as you attack him?
I think so. I switched out greatswords. It's a +3 greatsword now, glinting with I think a very like golden and black swirling like aura to it. And have you ever seen Omni Slash from Final Fantasy VII? Because
I
that's
have
what I
not.
imagine. It is
Describe it to
simply
me.
just almost like a dance of power and grace with each swing shining light. Just vertical, like horizontal, diagonal slashes, almost as if you see. It seems like Aaliyah's having fun. She is in her element at the most possible moment now, and I think the final hit is just a pure-on stab with the greatsword. Just reminiscent of the way she died.
You're huge. You're 5 feet taller than him right now.
I know.
So you're bearing down on him with this massive greatsword, and you're just slashing the shit out of your dad with like every single slash. He goes, what the? Like it bears down, and blood spurts. Just this golden blood coming off of his mane, and he, for the first time in your life, you see him stagger backward. He takes like a step backward and braces himself. Yeah. What is this? What? And as an all-powerful, omnipotent god, the thing is, he's unkillable, which means he doesn't know what true pain is. He's never tasted true fear of death. If you live your life as an immortal, you forget what it's like to know when things end. And how I will mechanically interpret, because he's technically immune to being frightened, but whatever. How I will interpret this is he will forfeit all legendary actions, I think, for the next round, as he is just kind of stunned and reeling from this. He just sort of stands there like leeching gold blood. You. And he lets out this like roar as like the planes continue to bleed into each other harder. Is that the end of your turn?
Actually, it's not.
Okay.
I
what else?
forgot. There's one other thing I needed to do. I'm sorry. What I need for you to do is give me a strength saving throw, Connie.
He is good at that. What are you trying to do?
We can see, because I can still mess with your strength saves. Don't worry. What did you get?
I'm assuming a 16 wouldn't cut it.
No, it wouldn't.
He rolled a 4. You know what? I'm gonna use a legendary resistance. To to save on that, I think. He's pulling out all the stops. I think as he's leeching blood pooling around his feet, whatever you're doing, I think you feel like a magical ward just like sweep up around him, right? And sort of almost like form like a chrysalis around his body and web protectively. What were you trying to do?
I was summoning a fire rune, and they were going to be fire shackles that restrain him.
Ooh, that would have been dope. So I think what happens is, like, as the shackles just start to ripple into existence, he lets out a no, and he like rips upward as the magical wards radiate around him. I will not be humiliated by my children. I may bleed, I may stagger, but I will not be humiliated.
That's what you think.
Is that the end of your turn?
It is.
Okay, next up is going to be V. V, at the top of your turn, for free, because you are a caster, make me an Arcana check.
Oh my gosh. So garbage. That's a 3.
Total?
Yeah, I rolled a 2.
No, okay. With a 3, I will interpret this as you get information, but it's gonna overwhelm you a bit. Swirling around you, all these planes, hemorrhaging, bleeding, you begin to see as the, go ahead, Aaliyah.
I can invoke a rune as I can invoke another rune on reaction, to give someone an advantage on a ability check, saving throw, or attack roll.
Oh my god!
Yep. You are in a little bit of a prophetic state. Thank the storm gods.
Oh fuck yeah! I think we see if it's okay. How does that prophetic state manifest on V, Aaliyah?
So I think I have a small rune tattoo, like right underneath on my eyelid. So my eye begins to glow a like burning white before that sort of little rune ends up on some part of your body, your choice, obviously. And you just get that glowing avatar state sort of prophetic vibe to you, and you need to know what you need to know at this moment.
Great.
It's a little bit better, 13.
Okay, a 13. Well, this is pretty obvious information, so I'll give it to you without a cost, like I would have with a 3. So as the chaotic magic swirls around you, you see, sure enough, the edges of all of these realms, the material one included, begins to fade, starts to disintegrate, turn into something beyond deep space. Nothingness starts to just disintegrate into oblivion, one might say, empty darkness. And V, with a 13, you kind of, I think you intuitively sense like the magic, the strings of the weave that are whirling, and you get the sense that you might know how to stop this. You might know how to prevent this, right? And I think what's coming to you is, I think your literal actual blood in your body feels drawn. Part of it feels drawn to this magic. It is the part of you that is Euphemet. It is the divine part of you that is connected to your hated, horrible father, that seems to know how to wield this magic, right? So kind of like in order to influence and change this ritual, you get the sense that you have to harness the part of you that reminds yourself of Euphemet. But you risk going too far, I think, and becoming that worst part of yourself that you might hate. So you have to have something to anchor you while wielding Euphemet's own power against him. That's what you get with a 13.
Okay.
It's your turn.
That works well. I'm gonna have to ask for a devil's bargain to get me 10 extra feet.
Okay, all right. I will grant it to you.
I would like to sprout my wings and fly right up to him. And I want to put my hand alongside of his cheek and say, "You may not have my mind by force, but I'll give it to you right now." And I'm gonna try and inflict wounds on him.
Okay.
With like the fury of everything behind me.
Okay,
Please roll better. Level 9, by the way.
sounds good.
That's a natural 20.
Okay, Jesus Christ, we are rolling hot, except for me tonight. So, same as with everyone else, you can take max damage and then roll again, which would be insane for a level 9 inflict wounds. Or you can roll double dice and choose a narrative boon.
Oh boy. I'm gonna. Oh gosh, I will roll. Max,
Okay,
and then roll once, right?
you could use your boon to try to hinder the spell that your dad's casting.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that instead. I thought maybe.
Go for it. All right, let's resolve the double dice first. So go for it.
Okay. Oh boy. 9, 10. Oh, that's not very good. 12, 15, 19, 29, 30, 31. Goodness gracious. 34, 41, and okay, so 50 for the first. 11 d10. And then there it is. 40, 50, 8, 65 for the second.
Okay. And tell me, so, if you're gonna try to interrupt or stop or influence this ritual somehow, it's kind of already started, but you can try to influence it your way. You get the sense. You can try to maybe, like, instead of having him erase reality, you could try, because he's doing reality magic right now. This is ontological arcane power. He is rewriting the laws of what makes the multiverse work. You get the sense, as you grab onto your father's face and just make him roar in pain and grief. You get the sense that if you tried hard enough, you could probably seed a reality of your own design into this. You could try to literally imagine a better future into existence. Would you like to try to do that?
Yes, but because I'm trying to still stay grounded, is it possible to just try and rebuild the same?
Instead of getting a little too ambitious? Yeah, I like that.
Dangerous.
Sure.
It's dangerous
It is.
to go too far, and knowing that I am using his power against him, really. Like, I'm trying to, like, draw out a better result.
So in order for you to do that, I will ask you two questions. My first one is, how do you embrace the part of your father that lives within you?
I don't hold back on the rage that I've felt anymore. And I realize that this is part of the lesson my mother was trying to teach me, that I have this rage for a reason. So I need to be able to utilize it in a way that can benefit the world rather than tear it down.
And I think you feel that part of your blood just boil with fury, righteous anger, like your father embodies so much of the time when he calls you insolent wretches. Right? You feel that part of you. You see that anger reflected in his face. You see it mirrored on your own, as it's almost like looking at two mirror selves of yourself. And the second question I must ask is, how do you hold on to your humanity?
I'm just going to put myself back at the ruins. And as I try to rebuild this world, I'm rebuilding the good memories. I'm rebuilding every time I visited it and it was more dilapidated. I'm rebuilding it. I'm going backwards.
I love that. Yeah, it just almost like a reverse time like cycle,
Yes.
right? And that eventually gets to the point where we see you and your mother and you're younger and you're, playing with Juancito and Aaliyah and Ira, and everything felt simpler back then. You were just little demigod children, but you were still children, and everything was good and kind and soft, and your mother was there, and there was love. And you hold on to your father, and your fingernails are digging into his skin, and he's bleeding gold blood, and he's spitting at you, and he's So what does inflict wounds look like?
Ooh, so the inflict wounds is it's similar to how the healing was coming from within me, except this starts in my heart. And it's a very bright, like purple with as it ramps up, it just gets brighter and brighter. And it comes through my arms, out my fingertips, and shoots right into his face.
Yeah, we see that just web up like veins like across his beautiful, handsomely chiseled expression. Is that your turn, V? Pretty baller turn.
I mean, while we're at it, we might as well have the spiritual weapon. My little level 3.
Might as well have it whack. Yeah.
Little baby level 3 do it. I think it's like just 1d8 plus 5. Papa, where are you? Yep. 2d8 plus 5. Look at me. All right, here it is. 1, 8, and 5. So 13. It's just gonna go. Dad.
Sounds good. Okay, yeah. I think that's 13. All right, that's fine. I'll just he can take it. It whacks him. Oh my god. I am suddenly everything on my screen is suddenly very, very large. Does anyone know how to get? It's like I zoomed in. I'm on PC. Does anyone know how
Did
to
you press
shrink
like
it?
Control Plus? Because
Yeah,
I think that's
Control
the
0 to
shortcut.
kind of.
No, everything is just very big. It's okay. I will try to GM like this. Oh, I have a
Oh my
magnifier
gosh.
on. Hold on. I'm good.
So sorry, Connie.
What's up?
I'm a silly Billy. I also wanted to use the channel divinity if I could.
Go for it. Do it.
With a melee attack, I deal an extra 45 points of damage.
I love the straight face. I love the straight face.
Yeah, that's so sexy. Yeah, beat up your dad. He as the weapon cleaves into him, and just this divine rage, but also this softness and this kindness that he could never, ever understand or appreciate, grounds you, right? As you're just on him, and he's roaring, and Aaliyah's towering above him. Is that your turn, V?
It is my turn. Yes.
Okay. Then we are gonna go to Juancito. I'm gonna say all of you can sense maybe what V intuited about the magic, right? I think you see the ruined home that you recognize as where V grew up, sort of warp itself back in time through, almost like an illusion, also slashes itself into existence amidst this howling hailstorm. You see it, and you can see it emanating off of V. V is almost entering this a virus and rewriting the code of what your dad's trying to do. And I think all of you understand what's going on here. So, Juancito, go ahead. I think you're muted.
Yes, I am. I am sorry. What I'm going to do is how far? I'm still the 10 feet away from him, right?
Correct.
Okay. I am going to rush up to him. And I'm going to make a melee attack attack with my longsword, rushing up behind him and screaming you will see the light that is within you.
Okay, yeah. He's, I think, still screaming from V inflicting a terrible amount of pain onto his body. But through his roars, you sort of hear him snarl, I will not. But go ahead and make your attack.
That is a 29.
Yes, that does hit.
Okay. That is 18 points of damage there.
Cool.
And then I'm going to... Can I do... let's see. And I can attack again. My second attack. That is a 27.
That also does hit, yes.
That is 14 points of slashing damage.
Cool.
And anything else I can do at this? I could do Divine Smite. I want to smack into it. 2d8. Let's see what I get. That one. Oh, table. 4. That's 12 points of radiant damage. And bonus action, I am going to do Dreadlord's Shadow Attack. So
I love that that's the name of the
yeah.
feature. Go for it.
It's a d20 plus 10. That's only 12 to hit.
That won't
fine.
quite hit. You can take a Devil's Bargain if you want.
Yeah, I will take Devil's Bargain.
Okay, let's resolve your damage first.
Okay. Let me see what that was gonna be. That's 3d10 plus 4. 1, 2. That's 25 points of damage.
Okay. Before you go next, I think he, as part of the Devil's Bargain, I forgot to resolve this for V too. I'll have him hit both of you for it because to get the 10 feet for you. While being attacked, besieged by his children on all sides, Euphemet lets out a... This is the worst kind of insolence any of you could have ever inflicted upon me. You will pay. And I think his claws shoot out of both of his hands. One goes, let's see, like it crackles with lightning energy, and the other one, I think, thrums with thunderous force, like just vibrating, right? Vibrating. And the thunderous one, like, rips at you, V, while the crackling lightning one rips at you, Juancito. And both of you will take 27 points of force damage, and... Sorry, my mistake. 18 points of force damage, and 27 points of lightning for Juancito and thunder for V.
This is a spell?
No, this is an attack.
This is an attack, okay.
Yes. That is 45 total.
And with that, my Celestial gets to go. That's
Yes.
all on my turn.
Yes, she does. Go for it.
Alright. Again with the mace. $13 plus. What is the hit? Plus my spell attack modifier. That's a 23 to hit.
That's shy. That misses.
Can I do a Devil's Bargain on that?
Yes, you can. Roll damage.
Okay. That is going to be a I don't understand this part. Like, plus the level's radiant damage. And the celestial... so I rolled a 7 with my modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the spell's level radiant damage.
Yes, so what level did you cast the spell at?
Well, the Summon the Celestial was 5th level.
So it's 5.
Okay. So 7 plus 5, that will be a 12. So 12 points of damage there.
Okay. He's gonna hit you back with another claw. That lightning rippling off of his nails turns suddenly into a black flame that just like these obsidian tongues of fire lick across his palm, and he rakes you for another 18 points of force and 27 fire this time.
To me or to the Celestial?
To you.
All right. So that's 18 points of force and 27 points of...
Fire, yes. 45 total.
Okay. Cool.
All right, sounds good. Is that both you and the Celestial's turn?
Yeah, unless I can do... Yeah, that's it.
Cool. I think as the Celestial like Zara flings her mace like poof, poof, at Euphemet, he lets out a insolent little Hansito. And you hear Zara's voice like ring through your heads. All of you do. You can do it too. You can write a little bit of your reality into what's happening here. The future all of us were trying to fight for. Hansito, you can do it. You're our hope.
Juancito is going to try and will a reality in which our father is not a god.
He's immortal?
He's mortal.
So, before I resolve what that might look like, I need you to answer, how do you embrace the aspect of your father that roils within your blood? Because you have to tap into it in order to weave through this magic.
I am going to take that sense that the weak were meant to be governed and flip the script on that and say that the weak were meant to be cared upon. They were meant to be cherished. They were meant to be uplifted. That only we as a community can come and move from the dark to the light. I'm thinking about where we first, the hut where we're at, how things were run down, dilapidated, things looked bleak. There was darkness there, but if we just took the moment then to be there when they needed us, gave them a little bit of hope, a little bit of light, that they wouldn't be weak anymore. They would have strength in those moments. I want to show him what that positive, what that strength, that weakness isn't a hindrance, that it can make you stronger.
And is that also what's like tethering you to your mortal side? I feel like you kind of answered both.
Yeah.
In that, I think because you're trying to sort of meld the two together instead of like accept them on their own terms, as I think the extent of this spell would require, is you're able to weave a little bit of what you seek into reality, but you can feel the magic fighting you. Right? This is your father's magic. And it says the weak are meant to be governed, and you're saying, no, they're meant to be protected. So your influence on it isn't as strong as these was, I think. Like, you're reaching for it, but it's almost like you're swimming against the current. You're still able to make some progress, but it's limited. You need your siblings' help to make this vision a reality, but you get a foothold in. Right? Like, you dig your foot into this arcane power and you stand your ground, but you need that little bit of extra push to get there. And I think we see this manifest in your father lets out a horrific, like, pained howl, this roar, this yowl that shatters and reverberates through this throne room. And part of his glow part of that divine radiance emanating off of his beautiful skin starts to dim, but it's almost like a flickering light bulb. It goes dark and then bright and then dark and then bright, like he's also fighting against it. You! Dare you? How dare you? And I think on that, it's going to be Ida's turn.
Ida sees what Juancito is trying to do to create this reality in which our father was never a god, was just a mortal. And they agree with what's happening, and they try to help, essentially, with it. Ida, in order to tap into the sadism of Euphemet and the sadism that lies dormant even within themselves as part of it, I think without them even trying to, their necrotic shroud activates, so these like huge wings that are made out of bone like sprout from their back, their eyes go pure black, and they walk up to Euphemet. And if he is getting weaker, Ida is going to try and like push him onto the ground and like put a foot on his chest. Stopping for a beat to let you decide whether that's happening.
Okay, just make a strength contest.
Okay.
I want to see how badass he can stay in his final moments if maybe he doesn't like go all the way to the ground. He is very strong.
Do we have like anything?
No, we do not. Can you beat a 28?
I rolled so low. 19.
Okay, so like he's still massive, even though Aaliyah's towering over him. You stride up to him, you try to shove him down, but I think the most you get is he sort of like takes a step back and maybe like bends his knees a little bit, but he doesn't go all the way down.
With that, Ida looks down at him and focuses in on this image of her father, weaker than they have ever seen him. And I think that image, they allow themselves to revel in it, to enjoy this moment, to see Euphemet humiliated on his knees in front of me right now, towering above him, more powerful than he is. And they use that and allow their own magic to like join in with Juancito's magic in order to birth this new reality, and the freckles on their face glow the same yellow as their eyes as they do that, and they can like essentially like tug at the magic that's within him and like try and like pull it out, siphon it out of him.
Are you trying to do what Juancito is doing, like pull the divinity from your father's body?
Yes.
Okay, what anchors you? You've accepted, I think you accept, like, you're relishing in his suffering, but what tethers you to your humanity?
I think a memory from when Ira was like really, really young, but it's the only happy memory that Ida has of Euphemet and Nur, their other father, together with Ida as well. They're just playing together outside of their house, I think. It's nothing really special or anything, but it's the only happy memory that they have, that they can remember of them being a unit. And I think that grounds Ida a little bit, reminds him that even Euphemet has at least some semblance of a heart of kindness within him. And I think that is the stopper, what makes Ida stop just before wanting to absolutely obliterate this person in front of them.
Okay, I really like that. As you look down or up, as you gaze into your father's face that's like crumpled with pain and fury and rage and frustration and terror, yes, there is fear in his eyes for the first time that you've seen him, for the first time perhaps in his divine unlife, there is fear. As he senses, you think, a massive change is about to happen. What sees him? No, you know not of what you are attempting. Don't do it. Don't do it, Ira.
We have to. It's the only way to get you to stop the suffering that you are causing everyone in this plane and the next.
No, kill me! Kill me now! Kill me now and prove your strength! I would rather die than be mortal.
You don't deserve our blades.
I think there's a moment where we're like briefly out of initiative because Aaliyah, you've been towering over him. This magic needs one last bit of sibling love. I think it needs a final something, right, to bring it
Of
up.
course.
So Aaliyah,
I'm bigger than everyone around me. Might as well just scoop them all up into a big fucking family hug. Because it feels like it would also embarrass Dad a little, and that's
Dad included.
I'm scoop them all up. What are you gonna do? No one can fight me.
Bring that old man in.
I win. I'll get them
What
all.
better way?
Are you
I'm
are you
staying this size.
you're trying to turn him mortal like everyone else?
Yeah, I'm taking his power. I think in terms of like this is combining both my stature and might as the daughter of my father, while the delicacy and the care with my strength that my mother always imparted in me.
The strength and the power. Yes, strength and power and force. You force your dad up, right? Like it does surge through your body. You embrace that aspect of him that lives in you. You accept it. You come to terms with it. You feel the strength surging through your body. You lift up all your siblings and you hold them with kindness, with gentleness, with a kind of warmth that you've only ever shown your siblings and your mortal parents and the mortals that you fought for and who have fought for you. And upon that, my god, okay, all of you, just to see how successful you all are at rewriting reality and seizing the mortality from your father, I need you all to make a skill check of your choice. And I will roll to resist.
No, did you get a nat 20? Please don't. What is that face, Connie?
What did everyone get?
I got a 23.
I'm going 14.
17.
21. Connie, what you get?
Connie?
I shit you not, I got a nat 20. My own.
The funny thing is, I have a second stone rune. I can make you roll with disadvantage.
Are you gonna?
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
I built a Connie killer.
Oh.
I was ready for you.
What's the highest roll that one of you got?
23, it was me.
How am I gonna resolve this? Okay. All right. You all feel the magic, this reality bending ontological arcane power begin to rip and sunder and tear into your father. This god of gods, you see his divinity beginning to strip away from him. You see this golden light start to fleck off of his alabaster mane. I think you see like it lift off of his face. That means I think what he looks like in a more mortal form is his black scleras turn white and his eyes just turn gold with like regular whites. And he goes, no. And tell me, if y'all want this to work, which one of you sacrifices your life?
Juancito.
V.
That looks like we're all gonna jump in for it, aren't we?
What if we all sacrifice a little bit of us?
Ooh.
I like that idea.
I love that idea. Yeah, I think each of you has to permanently give up an aspect of your divinity.
Oh.
Also. Or, well, an eye for an eye, eh? I think for this to work, maybe all of you, either one of you has to die permanently, or all of you have to give up what makes you a demigod. Like, you have to give up your godly power and also become mortal. Become killable. You can't reincarnate. You're freed. You become freed from the cycle.
Ida does it.
I'm down with that.
I mean, V's okay sacrificing herself if need be. She doesn't want to see any of her siblings do it.
What about Juancito?
All four of us could break the cycle right now.
You could break. I mean, all four of you could do it. All four of you could do it. I'm putting that out there.
Generational trauma, who?
But I'll say, only through the togetherness of these siblings.
Juancito is going to look at his siblings, smile, look at Zara, close his eyes and give a slight nod. You see him lay his hands on himself. And at the beginning of this, when he casted Lay on Hands, if Connie will allow me, I would like to do inflict wounds to myself twice, max damage. It's 3d10. I'm at 57 health points.
No.
You want to sacrifice yourself? Okay. I see we got an auto crit on the table, so here's my counter offer. I'm gonna use it. Juancito, as you look at Zara, and you don't see eyes, but Zara's glowing, radiant gaze widens. She just lets out a no. But as you put your hands on your body, and all your siblings know what you're about to do, I'm gonna use that auto crit from Euphemet. Was that inflict wounds a spell?
Yes, it is a spell.
I'm going to flavor his counter spell against your inflict wounds against yourself, using that nat 20 to mean he prevents you from being the hero, from sacrificing yourself. No! If I am forced to be mortal, then so will all of you! And I think he's like struggling in Aaliyah's grip as he says this. He flings his arms out, right? As Juancito, you feel those inflict wounds start to take root in your soul and then like reverse time, and the tendrils of rots that have begun to take place and kill you just spiral back out of your body, and there is a blinding flash of light. And then we find you, Juancito, somewhere else entirely. Mortal now, perhaps, waking up in your grave for the last time. Juancito, fourthborn, let's start with you. You hear like the crashing of waves against, I think, like a coastal town. You smell salt. You open your eyes and you see a beautiful blue sky with the twin suns in the sky. And this is kind of like, we're entering kind of like epilogue moments here, right? It's like a quick vignette of like what each of you do now that you feel different. Smaller maybe isn't the right word. More tangible, perhaps? The sand underneath your skin feels rougher. It feels realer. And the breeze is a little bit stronger than you remember. It's like you sense everything more concretely, intensely. And you realize you're mortal. What do you do?
Hears the waves crashing, the seagulls. He feels the sand. He gets up, pushes up with his shield, looks out and sees the blue sky, the white clouds, twin suns. Takes a deep breath and senses something's different. Undoes his chainmail armor, drops his shield and sword. He has some common clothes on in a little pouch. So he kneels down again, scoops some sand in the pouch, ties it to his waist, walks to the town square where that flower, the calla lily, was, plucks it, puts it within him right next to his heart, turns and looks back from the town square to the ocean, and he's just going to walk in whatever direction. He's going to keep his promise of protecting the weak.
I really like that. And Juancito, I think perhaps the last image we get of you after the chaos of this settling down, feeling every second that passes, that encounter in the throne room feels farther and farther away, almost like a distant memory. Every step you take farther from your divinity, you take one closer to your immortality, and you set your eyes upon a journey that will bring you closer to that which you value and that which your mother stood for. And I think as we pull away from these footprints disappearing in the sand, right, I think it's gonna fade onto Aaliyah's face. As Aaliyah, you wake up in that old forest city for the last time as well.
I think the thing I always planned on doing after all this was done was rebuilding the city. Can I still access the giant power stuff?
Yes, this is just you were unkillable as demigods.
Okay.
You will just now be mortal.
Okay,
Killable.
perfect. Then I think what you see is probably like full giant size, like 32 feet tall Aaliyah. Combining once again the like force and delicateness of fucking dead trees and like essentially as if she was tending a garden, but this entire garden is a city. So that this can breathe new life. And I think after that, she shrinks back down. She tends the small garden at her old house. She just starts fixing it up.
I love that. Yeah, you go back to that garden and you start weeding, you start getting in, you start tending to it, making things grow. Perhaps that's the last we see of you, Aaliyah, kneeling in the dirt, a literal gentle giant, using your strength to protect, but also to help nurture in new life and new growth, just like your mother did. And as we pan on your large, strong, but delicate hands working through the soil, we fade in to V's face, or should I say, Valencia's face, for the last time amongst the crumbled ruins of your home.
Is there memory of all that has transpired, or is everything starting to fade away?
It is a memory, but the more you stay awake, the more it feels almost like a dream, like a distant, because it was a memory of when you were a demigod and you're no longer a demigod. So you know it happened and it was real, right? Like this is still, we haven't reset time. This is still the same time. But that part of yourself feels very much in the past now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Valencia is going to go straight to the market. She still has her t-shirt?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I would never take that from you.
She's going to have another one made. And she's going to head back over to the hut and give one to
Kwai?
Kwai.
Oh my god, I love that.
And
oh my god, okay, yes.
she's going to show her how. She's like, look, you just move your hand over, and then one says, like one side says, I told you so, and the other side says, we won.
Kwai is standing there with a ladle of soup, like it mid ladling into a bowl. What are you? You're back? It's been a week. I thought you all died. What do you mean you told me so? What? Wait, you don't mean...
I just keep moving my hand over the messages.
And I think the next thing we see is just sort of like that bowl of soup clatter to the ground and spill, and like the sound of footsteps and like bodies colliding as Kwai just hugs you and is just like sobbing, like tears just streaming down her face as this mortal woman just hugs you, Valencia.
I want to spend some time with her, chatting. We're, no more smartass, but chatting. And then eventually I want to head out and look for my siblings.
Yeah, she lived her entire life being labeled as a heretic and living on the outskirts. And you chat with her, you learn about her mother's, You learn
Everyone
about
they've lost.
mortality from a mortal. Yes, everyone she's lost, everyone you love, right? What you did, presumably, and she sees you off. She is like startled, she is stunned, and she gives you a pack. She like makes you take food with her. She's like, you have to eat now, right? Gods, you have to eat. You have to sleep. You here, and like she's like packing a bunch of food in and like gives it to you, right? And like sees you off against the threshold. Just hey, Valencia, no one here remembers. Everyone here thinks that the four of you were just a myth from hundreds of years ago.
Show them your tunic.
And she looks down, and we see it's like, I told you so, and then she flips it down to Weevon. I will. And I think the last thing we see of you is like, saying a goodbye and hiking off through the woods in search of your siblings. As we pull away from your back retreating, we're going to go finally to our firstborn, Ida.
Ida wakes up in the cave, nestled inside of the seaside cliff as always. And as always, when they jerk awake, they roll off over this cliff and they grab it with one hand. But this time, it feels more difficult to keep themselves here, to keep themselves hanging. And as they're hanging there, trying to process this lack of strength that they have, all of a sudden, he feels snow falling on him. And he clambers back up onto the cave and sits on the edge and looks out, and it's snowing. For the first time in this area, it's snowing. The seasons have changed here. And I think Ida is just stunned by this view, never having seen this cliff with ice, with frost, with such beauty before. And he sits there and undoes his bun, undoes each of the two braids that are framing his face. And he stands up, takes a couple steps back, makes a running start, and dives off of the cliff into the water. And as he makes contact with the water, he goes down into his soul, feeling the wild magic still stirring within them, and they try and feel out for where their father is, where Euphemet is, and they swim in whatever direction that will take them.
And we just sort of see your athletic form cutting through the water, cutting through the surf, right? Like snowflakes drifting down and like melting against this ocean, no longer suspended in time, no longer caught there in this eternal cycle. Like you, the seasons here are also freed. And I think we sweep to black, and we don't know how much time passes. But as we fade up on the final image, it is of 4 portraits, framed photographs, framed drawings of 3 women and 1 man, mortal parents of once demigods, sitting on top, I think, like a humble altar. We see candles burning, wax dripping off of the wood, off the stone, oranges, fruits, gold coins, and gems being set as offerings. And we pull out from this altar, and we see we're in a public temple, actually, as like people are like bustling to and fro, and other pictures of loved ones. As we pull out, we see like sort of cluster this altar, and like people are praying like on their knees. They're like holding incense, right, as like the smoke drifts through this temple, like muttering prayers, nodding to the 4 directions. And we pull and reverse and see one hunched figure with a hood up. Just sort of sitting there on his knees in front of these 4 pictures, muttering a prayer. And when he looks up, we see your father, Euphemet's face, now mortal, forever changed. And on that, we're going to end this one-shot. So thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in to God/Blood. I have been your GM and creative producer, Connie. Before I do some introduction, That's not a word. Before I do some introduction announcements about other events, I'm going to just pass things along to my incredible players to give yourselves your own plugs. So I'm going to pass things over to Dare to start things off.
Hi, I'm Dare. This was fun. Pronouns, she, they, they. You can catch me on all parts of the internet at Dare to Dream RPG, DARE, the number 2, DREAM RPG. I'm mostly hot on the internet and I just talk a lot and people like me. Speaking of talking a lot, I am actually nominated for the BIMPOC Streamer Award for Chatterbox. So if you go to bimpockstreamerawards.com, go to the Chatterbox category, you can find Dare to Dream RPG under there. It's a really funny one. It fits, and I really want to win it because that's a really funny insult to myself. I'm gonna throw it over to Humna.
Yes, hello. My name is Humna and I use any and all pronouns, and I am a TTRPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at @shahid_, where I talk about all of the different projects that I'm a part of. The way that I like to advertise my characters is that I play queer disasters who make bad decisions. So if you like that, if you like people who fail forward, I promise I can bring you that. So come and check out what I'm doing. And I will pass it on over to Lonzo Gonzo.
Hey everyone, Lonzo Gonzo here, pronouns he, him. You can find me on Twitter at Lonzo Gonzo, where I'm mostly hyping up other people and also saying when I'm streaming occasionally. You can find me on my Twitch at Lonzo Gonzo_. You can also find me Saturday nights over at Rolling These 20s, where we do Vampire the Masquerade, Philly by Night. I play Oscar Leon Bonce, Ravnos, Kindred, Hacker, Mob Boss, also pronounce he, him. Tomorrow is our mid-season finale, so if you could stop by over there, that'd be so great. And this was a great game. Thank you, everyone. I'll pass it off to Denise.
Yes. Hi, Denise, she, her. You can find me on the socials at Denise Pantoja. There's also at the Demogorgon on TikTok. I'm an actor producer, and you can follow Fractured Roll, Channel 29, or myself on Twitch if you are interested to see what I'm up to. Thanks, everybody. Y'all were awesome. Thank you, Connie.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of Con Chaos. Hi, I'm Connie, also Con Chaos. I'm gonna start that right now. I'm debuting it here. This is my test run. I've been the GM for tonight. Other than here on the FreeForge, I am the GM and creative producer on Transplanar RPG, which is an all transgender, people of color led D&D show set in an original dark fantasy, non-colonial, anti-orientalist world. If that's interesting to you, I like to pitch it as basically the L word, but a lot more racially diverse. And also the apocalypse is here. So if that's interesting to you, tune in Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/transplanar RPG. Quick announcements. Charity streams are happening this entire weekend and up until Monday. So tomorrow, tune in at 11 a.m. Central for Chaos at CreatureCon, a Monster of the Week with Stamosis, who has been rooting for Evil Daddy in chat this entire time. So we have to give Stamosis the same kind of love. Show up and let's root for the monster, because I know I will. End Times is also tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. That is a level 20 D&D one-shot with B. Dave Walters. That sounds amazing. Tune in for that as well. Cosmic Jelly is a level 20 Space Jam inspired D&D one-shot with Dimples and Dice on Sunday at 7 p.m. US Central Time right here on the FreeForge. That also sounds incredible. And Trivia Night is an offline community event on Monday at 7 p.m. US Central Time in the Discord on the FreeForge with Strix and Candle. And finally, to round out this charity hullabaloo, Golf with Your Friends is going to be Tuesday at 7 p.m. US Central Time. It is a streamed community event with Jammy Whammy Games. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, a huge thank you to Mindy and D&D for being incredible producers and facilitators. That music, am I right? That production. Thank you for letting us run like an hour later. I'm so sorry about that, but we love you. We appreciate you, and have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for the donations so much. Goodbye, friends.